live on YouTube Live. All right. We should be established. Sal, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can. Are you doing the neck roll?
I'm doing the neck crank. I'm
Dutch?
getting ready.
I'm
excited.
This is I'm ready.
You're wearing special attire.
I am. I got all excited to round out All Valley, and I have a gi on, and I'm ready to fight.
Very nice.
Bow in, sir. Hit your mic. All right. I'm ready to roll. This is super exciting. So, Sal, let's do this.
I'm all set.
All right. Make sure. Welcome to Just Curious Media. This is Let's Talk Cobra Kai. I'm Jason Connell.
And I'm Sal Rodriguez.
All right, Sal. We are back for a triumphant episode. I cannot believe this.
Maybe I can't either.
You're speechless.
I am. I can't believe we're here. I mean, it's been quite the journey. I mean, this season alone is one,
yes.
but now 4 seasons.
4 seasons.
Wow. This is an epic journey. It really is. And it's not even over. We're still on the journey.
No.
We're just now after this episode, we'll have a pause, but the journey continues.
It does continue. This is the 4th season finale. I cannot believe it. You're right. We started this road. I have driven across the country during this season for us, and you have as well. You've gone places. So it's like this started 2.5 months ago because we do a weekly show.
Yeah.
And here we are in the 10th episode. Yeah, it's 2.5 months. It's like, oh my gosh. And all that we've brought with us, season 1, season 2, season 3, 3 movies, all the other things. It's like, oh my gosh, this is the biggest, baddest. And Sal, it lives up to what it was supposed to be and exceeds it. It exceeds it. Seeing this again, because I haven't seen this since I watched it initially when they all dropped, I was floored all over again.
If you're a fight fan, this is the episode for you. I mean, because Cobra Kai is many things. Karate is obviously one of them.
Yeah.
But if you're the kind of person who's like, I want more fighting, like, when are they going to get back to fighting? And I'm not here for this arguing. Here we are.
Yeah.
If you like fighting, here we are.
Well, before we jump in, Sal, how about a word from our sponsor?
Let's do it.
Support for Let's Talk Cobra Kai is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming and offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Join over 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped, and with this exclusive offer, you'll get
20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code cobrakai at manscaped.com.
All right. Wow. Here we are. But before we jump in,
what?
I want to go over a couple little mini things. Don't worry, it's not going to be like the LaRusso, the Louis, background.
Yeah,
no,
but
not that.
Some
origin stories. Well, just a couple of things because I even alluded to it a second ago. But I don't. When I went back and watched this for notes, again, I have mentioned this in the previous episode that I have not gone back and watched season 1, 2, or 3 in some time since notes, unless I'm spot checking. Like,
sure.
I got to look at that fight sequence or just zooming in and seeing this particular scene.
Sure.
But when I am spot checking, it started to plant that seed. And the reason I waited, because part of me likes to let things age a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Just let it age just a little bit. I think if I had gone back in too early for season 1, season 2, I just wanted to let it sit there for a minute so I could almost be surprised in certain aspects. Yeah. Not to mention when I spot check, seeing the age difference, like kids just look older.
Yeah.
Right. You see like a young, skinnier Miguel and Eli when I'm like, wow, you can already see how fast they're growing. But I'm super excited to do this. And that was kind of what I do with Let's Talk Movies. Right. We're revisiting movies that are great because it's probably time you watch it again. Or if you've never seen it, you could see it for the first time. We're starting to do newer episodes on Let's Talk Movies, like movies in theaters and reviews. But for the most part, that's what its genesis was. And I'm excited for that. So that's why I held off. It wasn't like, well, he's moving on. No, I'm really excited this off season to do a deep dive in season 1, 2, and 3. And Sal, I'm going to be watching like a hawk.
Oh,
play the screech. I need the,
I'm loving his music. I hope you have a theme song too, because I'm noticing I'm starting to pay more attention. Eli has his own theme song, it seems, all the time.
Oh my gosh.
I want a theme song too.
You need one. You need a theme song. We're just bouncing around town, running errands and whatnot, going by Ali's house and the old dojos. I like it. Sal's theme song. Anyway, so also I'm excited to do this because it's going to kind of connect some dots again, because when you do notes and all these episodes run together, it's like and I have a really good memory and I can remember data and facts but hell, I went blank one night thinking, was Kreese really at Coyote Creek with Stingray? Well, of course he was, but it's like in the moment you threw me a curveball and it's like, I haven't thought about that in 3 years or 2.
Yeah.
So it's like, of course, that was the episode Stingray became Stingray. And it's like,
well, hang on. When I brought that to your attention, I wasn't implying that I was certain that Kreese
No, I know, but I was
thinking to myself, was Kreese there?
You wanted me to bail you out.
I was like, wait,
I
failed. I was like, totally Jason, failed. You got to let us know the facts.
Yeah. So I am excited for that. And that will spawn a lot of cool special episodes. I already have a lot in store. So our off season won't really be an off season for our show. We're going to have episodes coming out, lots of fun stuff to cover. In fact, when I was doing notes for this episode, I was like, oh my gosh, this is a great episode, great special episode. So a lot of stuff in store for all of our fans.
Yeah.
And that's all I got, Sal. But wait, one more thing.
Yes.
I mentioned last episode, there's never been a grand champion in All Valley before. Right.
Yes.
And that's true this way, where you're doing a point tally and, this, that, and the other, and a skills competition. Yeah. There's never been this type of grand champion. Yeah. But in the Karate Kid Part 3, on the leaderboard is grand champion, because it was a very scaled down All Valley, and us viewers, fans only saw the final fight, right? We didn't see Mike Barnes make his way through, the qualifiers. In fact, the leaderboard for Karate Kid 3 just has semifinals, 4 people, finals 2, defending champ LaRusso, and then finalist, which was Barnes, and then there's a grand champion. So it's like the leaderboard's very different than the first Karate Kid.
Yeah,
get a chance. Definitely. I just happened to be looking at it because I was going through for notes for this episode. I thought, okay, they've actually had a grand champion before, but a very different context for that. And I also mentioned sponsors, right? Because I mentioned that last episode. I could see some sponsors here and there. So I went back to the 50th All Valley Karate Championship, which is on Cobra Kai, and you can see Century, LaRusso Auto Group, and then there's like this one side of all these sponsors, but they're real hazy logos, and I could never get, I couldn't pull them off. I don't even know if they were meant to be hazy.
Yeah.
And then in this 51st All Valley, I saw Century, Nautilus Trusted Strength, Schwinn, LaRusso Auto Group, and then those same logos that blended in the 50th All Valley. So there are sponsors. And LaRusso Auto is always front and center, which is great to see.
Interesting. I would almost think that's a conflict,
You would think. But they also have some real ones in there. I mean, they're wearing Century gis. I noticed that on like Eli's. And so Century is a legitimate, gi manufacturer. And then Nautilus is a big company in Schwinn. Funny how those real companies popped in there in this season.
Those are very real. I'm very familiar with Nautilus equipment, having been a former personal trainer. In fact, I used to work at a gym called Nautilus. That was the name of the gym.
Wow.
Named after the line of equipment created by Arthur Jones. Created the variable resistance cam on the Nautilus equipment.
I like that.
Yeah. And then also, who else we have? LaRusso Auto Group. And who else did you mention?
Schwinn.
Hello. Who didn't grow up on Schwinn?
Schwinn, of course.
Our family had at least
2
5
growing up. Yeah.
I still have a Schwinn today. I think one of my bikes, my beach cruiser, is a Schwinn.
There you go. Well, they just setting that out there. So those I saw. Other logos at some point in time, maybe we can lift those off or ask them. They're probably like a lot of inside jokes, like, oh yeah, we love that pizza joint and whatever, something in Atlanta.
Yes.
Hey, when you were working at the gym, did you have a class called like Body by Sal? You sign up and then you put them through the program.
Well, I would always do one-on-one training, but I did get in a fight once with an aerobic instructor who wouldn't lower his music.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a bad memory. And I did not know karate, unfortunately.
That's a tough gym, man. Jeez, trainers going at it with each other. All right, enough of that. That's in the past. Let's jump in here. So every episode of Cobra Kai is brought to you by
Netflix.
Yes, it is. And all the episodes in this season dropped on
December 31st, 2021.
Well done. You've been paying attention, Sal.
I watch our show.
Yeah, I watch. This again is season 4, episode 10, The Rise. Last episode was
The Fall.
fitting
now the rise
title.
Well, I'd rather it be the fall than the rise instead of the rise and then the fall.
Yeah, in reverse. Now the IMDb rating, you're right, Sal. All-time
yes.
season high, 9.4.
Nice. I knew it.
Yeah.
I saw it coming.
They were waiting for the peak.
The voters were waiting to deliver their best score.
Yes,
right here.
They were.
And you know what? To be fair,
it's
I think the episode deserves
it. It's very
it's not just them being nice.
Raise it up. You
can argue that it could go up to 9.6. I would say. Yeah, I would say so. This, 9. You know what? I'm not going to tell you where because but you know, there might have been something in my eye a couple times in this episode.
It may happen during our show. There are some moments, man.
Whew. Yes.
The synopsis for this episode is the tournament comes to a shocking end with the aftermath leaving its participants reeling and two champions facing uncertain futures. Oh my gosh. Yep. Sal, are you ready for our scene by scene breakdown?
I am ready. And right away we get thrown for a loop. We're not even 10 seconds in. We're thrown for a loop.
I have 11 pages of notes and we're already thrown for a loop here right out of the gate. And we're at I'm assuming, West Valley General Hospital. At least it's a hospital, but that's the hospital we know so well. And we're in a hospital room and there's noises and brain scans. And Sal, we assume one thing, but it's entirely something or someone else.
Well, if you remember the way the last episode ended, the fall, episode 9 ended with Miguel writhing in agony on the mat.
Yep.
And we're getting into PTSD mode. Like, is he re-injured again? Yep. So we're thinking this opens up with him in the hospital. That's what we're thinking, right? Why wouldn't we think that? No, it's not Miguel at all.
Who is it?
It's Stingray. I guess he'd been in like a coma, literally.
Wow, that kick to the head.
Oh, the stomp, the head stomp.
Oh, boy, could have killed Stingray. I'm happy to know he's alive, but Sal, he's a John Doe.
Yes, interesting.
He
doesn't have any idea on him or anything.
No ID.
Wow.
And no family. Are we ever going to meet his sister? I mean, come on. These are the questions I'm asking.
Wait a second. I just realized something else at this very moment. So he's a John Doe. He was unconscious. Where did they find him?
Yeah.
And who reported him? Who called him?
I mean, no, Silver could have drug him out on the street over there in your neck of the woods over Magnolia and Lancashire.
Yeah, dump him on Magnolia near Colfax.
Yeah. Or was he still in Reseda? I'm not sure where that actually happened, but
I don't know. I'm traumatized by the you know what? I at first I was calling it like, oh, when Silver beat up Stingray. He didn't beat him up. No. He assaulted him. He just it was assault and battery on Stingray.
Attempted murder.
Yeah.
But I don't want to jump ahead. So now we're back at the All Valley Sports Complex and we're in the physical therapy room and Miguel churns out, Sal, thank you. Just pulled a muscle.
Yeah. And but you do see the scars on his lower back.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's kind of hard to see. He's a young guy with these scars on his lower back. Not pretty.
So we see a medic played by Josephine Roth, and Sal, she is this same medic from season 1, episode 10, Mercy, and she was Robbie's medic in that episode.
Nice.
So I love the callback, bringing her back. In the first, in Mercy, she was wearing like a very different outfit. It's more cash, more like a polo this time. But he's got time, Sal, but he has 30 minutes to recover if he wants to compete again. And because it's just a pulled muscle, it's going to hurt a little bit, but let your body, respond and see if you can go or not. However, in the Karate Kid, Daniellarusso only had 15 minutes. They have doubled it. Times have changed.
Yeah.
Err on the side of safety.
Yeah. A kindler, gentler All Valley.
Totally. And then we see Johnny, Carmen, and Rosa, and they're talking with Miguel. And Sal, like I've been saying for a few episodes, it seems like Miguel is just disconnected.
Yeah. No, he's not in fight mode.
No.
At all. And then Rosa was in greater fight mode. She says that she liked when Miggy kicked a guy in the face.
Yeah.
She was pretty excited about that. But she was more excited about the kick in the face than Miguel was. Miguel didn't seem like he had any interest at all in being there.
Yeah, not good. And now we have Robbie Keane and Dimitri
Alexopoulos.
And they're fighting. And Robbie leads 1-0. We don't see that score. We just come in at 1-0. And then he gets a stomach punch, 2-0. Robbie's up. It's how interesting the ref sends them to their senseis. There's a lot of different things now that's happening. Like go to your senseis. And then it's the Star Wars talk, Sal. Because
Yeah.
Dimitri is he's always so good with this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Him and Amanda. I'm always saying that. But what does he have to say?
Dimitri says, I had a hard time beating him when he was on the good side of the Force. Now that he's gone all Sith, I feel like a helpless Jedi youngling about to get slaughtered.
And Eli, a former nerd, good buddies, says, okay, well, you're taller. You have the high ground. That's how Obi-Wan beat Anakin, right? So talking his language,
Wow.
it helps. Dimitri kind of snaps out of it, and goes back in. And this is not the Dimitri from season 1, Sal. Dimitri is a formidable force. He's really built up some chops in karate.
Yeah, and you know what? We're following everyone's journey, the Eli Hawk journey, Robbie's journey, Miguel's journey, Sam's journey. We really don't get into much of what's Dimitri's motive. Why is he doing this? Because we're getting into the why. Why am I fighting? We get into that a little bit later also with Miguel. Why is Dimitri fighting? I don't know, but he's doing great for whatever reason. He is doing great.
Self-confidence. It wasn't for Yasmin. That happened outside of that. But I think self-confidence and maybe part of a team. I mean, he never really was part of a team other than just him and Eli making their cat videos and hanging out.
Oh yeah, and was it Binary Brothers?
Binary Brothers. And so it's a good battle. Back to the fight. It's a really good battle. Dimitri even does the Bruce Lee. Everyone's doing this, Sal. Come here.
Yeah,
I call it the Bruce Lee because I've seen that way back when.
It. Yeah, a lot of fighters do that. That is actually employed in combat sports. They'll do that. Yeah. But I think it's all originates with Bruce for sure.
Yeah, as far as I know. And then Robbie does as Cobra Kai's do, sweeps the leg, and then has a stomach kick point winner. And it's big surprise. Okay, yes, he wins, but it wasn't just a give me. And Daniel's proud, of Dimitri's effort. But Sal, no shots of Yasmin in the crowd. I thought she was going to stay for the junior prom and All Valley, but maybe she skedaddled back to Australia.
That's true, because we established her at the junior prom.
Yeah.
But we have not seen her at the All Valley at all.
No, and we do not.
Yeah.
So Dad called her back home.
Yeah,
well, not back home, but back down under.
Yeah.
So now we're in the locker room and Kenny recovers because, sorry. Hang on a second.
Yeah, he's wiping a nosebleed. Is what he's doing.
Sorry. My notes.
Was that from Robbie?
Yeah, because we're going. Sorry, it goes back to last episode.
Yeah,
Kenny had, Robbie had fought Kenny.
Yes,
and embarrassed him, and so he's recovering. And because he was bested, and then Robbie didn't even help him off the mat. And then Anthony enters. Anthony LaRusso.
Yeah, and attempting to apologize.
Yeah,
I'm assuming it's legitimate, right?
Totally legitimate, but not good timing.
Yeah.
After you're dealing with this and your ego's hurt, and here comes someone, that you have hatred for, and he had been bullied by.
Yeah.
But what happens?
Well, let me just say, I'm a big believer in the proper time or place to say something. You may have something you want to say to somebody, but when and where, very important. Yeah. Totally bad timing on Anthony's part. And he attempts to apologize. Kenny's not having it. And Kenny, would you say here Kenny assaults him? Kenny, it's assault and battery, not to the level of Terry Silver and Stingray, but he does. He kicks Anthony, and then he just goes to town with these body shots. Then he has these flashbacks of him wailing on the dummy in the dojo.
Yep.
So
all of that, he's working all those demons out.
Yeah.
Kind of like that scene from A Christmas Story when he finally beat up the bully. And he was cussing. It's like he just let everything out. Not to mention what he just went through. His pride's been hurt.
Yeah.
His, the not a sensei, but his, who
like
he
mentor.
looked up to, his mentor, Robbie, bested him. And not only that, really just kind of embarrassed him to some degree. And he's down on himself. And he's got a little fire in him too. He's a perfect Cobra Kai candidate.
Sure.
And he lets it out on Anthony. And it's hard to watch. And thank goodness Robbie comes in and breaks it up.
Yeah, but at first Robbie doesn't see who Kenny is wailing on because at that very moment, as Robbie tries to intervene, Anthony kind of falls into a heap on the floor.
Yeah.
And at first, Robbie doesn't really see him at first. And then he looks like Anthony LaRusso was your bully.
Yeah, he
didn't know this.
Out. He didn't know this.
Wow.
But he still tries to help. And, he can only do so much. But Robbie's clear-headed. Kenny's upset. Anthony's hurt. And we cut away. But yeah,
well, hang on, Jason. There's one little thing here that I got to point out. This little,
please.
It's almost a Dimitriism, almost an Amandaism, because Kenny grabs Anthony and he says, "Get ready for high school next year. You're going to be in a world of pain." And we know that was not Pain, but Payne.
That is his last name.
Kenny got jokes.
Kenny's on top of the world. Yeah, very tough scene. And so Robbie also sees the monster that Kenny's become.
Yeah,
Robbie, so there's that, which that'll come up later, but that's something to, that's definitely resonating with Robbie right now.
Yeah.
So now Tori Nichols fights Powers, a Locust Valley fighter, and Tori gets a head face kick and wins. Now, again, Sal, in a different era, this may have been a DQ or a point deduction, but hey, whatever. Great shot. She's into the finals.
Yeah, it's interesting when you get into the technicalities of these tournaments, whether this one, All Valley, or others, as far as what's not allowed and what is allowed.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you're allowed to kick someone in the face, apparently, but later on, somebody has a problem with an elbow to the face. So,
yeah, the elbow, exactly. The foot was intentional, I guess. And listen, from the Karate Kid, let's go back there. They were legal. There was always this little like rumblings that it wasn't legal, that you could call it not, but it was legal in that particular fight because Daniel won on, unless every ref missed it.
Yeah.
So then Samantha LaRusso's fighting Krupa, a Topanga karate fighter. And Sam has a nice takedown chop, wins. She's also into the finals. Sets it up nicely, Sal. Tori and Samantha in the finals, representing Miyagi-Do and Cobra Kai. Wow, that's coming, but there's so much more before we get there, Sal.
There's so much more. And you know what I'm really loving, because I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong here, you would know more than me. Is it just me, or are there a lot more takedowns in karate now than we've seen in years past? I love the takedowns.
Having gone back recently and done checks of all valleys from Karate Kid, the original, and Karate Kid Part 3. Sometimes I call it Karate Kid 1, which is weird. but I go back and look at that, and you see people like Vidal doing like a killer takedown, even Johnny. So you saw it. Absolutely, it existed. Yeah. But they've got to raise the bar here. We're seeing more All Valley than we've ever seen. Like, you go back and watch the original, that montage covers so much ground. Yeah. It's like, hey, it's like 80s movies. Let's do a little montage and we'll just fly through. Well, now they're having to really choreograph more. Stakes are higher. The lighting's really different. Go back and look at the other, the originals. It's like, wow, it's like a normal gym. Now it's like this beautiful mood lighting, something you see on like a big show, like American's Got Idol, American's Got Idol, American Idol, America's Got Talent. I don't watch either one of those, so I'm doing a mashup. But you know what I mean? Like the big production, the lighting, they're playing with it. It just looks incredible. Yeah. So they got to raise the stakes on the choreography. But I think you're right. Probably more takedowns, but we did see it historically.
Okay, we did see it. So I'm just kind of noticing it more now, I think. Then.
Yeah, and they're nice. How often can you just see the usual stuff? You're gonna have to do some different things to make it more enticing for us. So now we're outside the locker rooms, and Johnny runs in the crease.
Oh. What awkward, huh?
Awkward. You can't. They saw each other, so they can't just
exactly
keep
ignore
walking.
each other.
Yeah. And this exchange goes like this: and I'll be Johnny, you play crease.
Okay. Crease says, "Look, what happened with Terry back in the old dojo? I didn't know he was going to do that.
I don't have time for this shit.
It didn't have to be this way, Johnny. You could have been with me and your real son.
You don't care about Robbie any more than he cared about me."
Bullshit. I cared more about you than anyone.
You had a funny way of showing it. You forced me to fight dirty.
And then we have a quick flashback to Karate Kid 3, right? Was it 3 or the original? No, the original.
That was the original. That was the original. Yeah, I was agreeing when you said the Karate Kid, but
no, you're right. It is the original Karate Kid, where Kreese tells him sweep the leg, and then at first Johnny's like, "Huh?" And then Kreese goes, the famous, "You have a problem with that?"
And then Johnny says, "No, sensei.
No mercy."
And then Johnny continues from current day. You sacrificed my soul for Cobra Kai. No, sorry. You sacrificed my soul so Cobra Kai could stay number 1.
That is not true. I wanted you to be number one, but you were down 2-0 and you were about to be beaten. And I knew that would take you into a downward spiral. And I was right. Because no matter what people say, it does matter whether you win or lose. And if I can help Robbie win, he'll remember it for the rest of his life. And maybe someday he can be the one to keep Cobra Kai going.
Wow.
Whoa.
Keep it going.
Hello.
He's going to pass the torch to Robbie.
Oh, yeah.
Well, then Johnny says, no, that's never going to happen because tonight Cobra Kai is going to die.
Wow.
Wow, he threw the gauntlet down there.
Intense.
Whew. And they were just getting a drink of water, Sal.
Yeah, they're just going to take a leak is all they were going to do.
Golly. So now we're back in the physical therapy room. And Sal, I noticed that, so again, let's go back. Miguel has 30 minutes to get ready, right?
Yeah.
Not 15, like historical All Valleys from the 80s. Well, it was 6:35 earlier. I could kind of see the clock behind the medic. It was a little out of focus. Well, now we do see the clock bright, right there, right front and center, 6:55 p.m. So it has been a little bit less than 30 minutes. We're in 20-minute range. Okay. But I hear the PA announcer say it's the 5-minute mark. So, whatever. They're only off by a couple minutes. But
maybe that clock was broken.
Maybe it was a little broken, just a little bit. And then Miguel's loosening up because he's still like, I'm going to give it a go. Right. And then Johnny comes in and what's he throw at him?
What is that? A tube of Bengay he's got, or some sort of tiger bomb? Maybe
it was Bengay. It said,
how do you know it was Bengay?
Because he moved his hand and it said it on there.
Oh my God.
And
Bengay.
As all the sports I play, there's always somebody that it will be in a huddle or will be in a team meeting, or you'll just be on the field and either the opponent or your own player, and you're going to smell that Bengay. Someone's got it on.
But I thought tiger bomb was the thing to use.
They both interchangeable, but the Bengay has that distinct smell.
It does. And I always associate it because when I was a kid, the Bengay commercials, they weren't necessarily aimed at athletes. They were kind of aimed at elderly.
Yeah, I could see
so it would show like a senior using the Bengay. So I never related Bengay to athletics, but rather to like just senior living.
Yeah. Yeah, there's also some lame jokes back then, but that was the 80s. And people
truly tasteless jokes.
Tasteless. And so then Johnny says, do what I tell you. And we'll not only take down Cobra Kai, we'll show LaRusso and everybody else who's really the best. So, and he also said, we're not going to get another shot at this. It's now or never. Now, Sal, I love the alternate take on You're the Best. Kind of reminds me of Simply the Best, the Tina Turner HBO, it was used for HBO, like Simply the Best.
Yes. Better than all the rest.
There it is. And I don't think I've ever seen someone else this ready to compete. You said it earlier. He wasn't ready to fight. Miguel's like, yeah, Johnny's all fired up. He wants to fight. Miguel kind of sees through it. It's not his mission. And he's just tapping out. And Johnny's just oblivious to it. He doesn't see it at all. He's like, yeah, I'll just kind of, a little rah, and then we'll go get him. But it's just not happening.
No, Miguel's not bloodthirsty here. During Johnny's monologue there, we hear under Miguel's breath, that's what this is about. So
exactly.
Miguel realizes in that moment, it's not even about Miguel winning. This is Johnny's war.
Yeah. That
Miguel's fighting in.
Reminds me of Robbie hearing his senseis talk, especially Kreese. It's like, yeah, okay. Or even he hears Daniel talk. It's like, it's the adult war. And the kids are these pawns, as we've talked about.
Yeah. They didn't start this war. They did not start it.
Yeah. I'm not saying Johnny and Daniel are evil, like, the Cobra Kai establishment, the Bicephaly, Silver and Kreese, but they're caught up in it. There's no doubt about it. They're caught up in it. And then now we see Daryl. We're back on the mat. So we're always like in the locker room or we're back on main stage. Yeah. But what does Daryl have to say? Because he's killing it as MC.
Oh, yeah.
Hosting MC.
I'm going to take some of his technique and use it. Because he's getting me pumped up, and I'm not even there.
Flair, yeah.
I'm excited about the blue mat. I'm not even at the blue mat. Daryl says Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do are neck and neck on the leaderboard, but there's a dark horse, or should I say, a dark bird that still has a chance. Will Eagle Fang Karate stay alive in our dojo race? We're about to find out. Miguel Diaz has 1 minute to return to the mat.
Sal, what's the color of that mat again?
The blue mat.
I'm surprised it wasn't one more plug.
Yeah. Return to the blue mat. The beautiful
I
blue
said
mat.
the blue mat. And then we see a countdown clock.
Yeah.
They're going all out. This new leaderboard is unbelievable. And it goes all the way down, though. Very dramatic.
Yeah.
In fact, there's even some talk in the Eagle Fang establishment with your favorite nickname of them all, Mitch being
penis breath.
And Devin. And they're like, yeah, they're coming out like, oh, it's so dramatic. Yeah, it's all Valley. And it goes all the way down, Sal. We're waiting for this, Miguel's gonna fight. We're waiting.
Yeah. And there was even a 10-second countdown like New Year's Eve.
Yeah, exactly. But I had a bad feeling when Johnny, I had a bad feeling, but I felt like Johnny should have escorted Miguel out. Like, hey, put this Bengay on. Let's go. Come on, champ. Walk him down the hallway like a prize fighter, Sure. But of course, it wouldn't have made for this scene, the disappearing act.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then Daryl goes on to say,
Daryl says, well, it looks like Miguel Diaz is not going to fight.
Well, there you go. There was the throwback. Miguel Diaz is not going to fight.
Yeah. Miguel Diaz is not going to fight.
Yeah. Love it. Goes all the way back to the original.
To Tex. You call him Tex. That wasn't his.
Oh, no, he just looks like a Tex. Okay. It's not Tex.
Okay.
And then Eli Muskowitz wins by default, and he's into the finals. He didn't have to continue the fight with Miguel. And so he moves on down the road. And now we're back in the hallway. And Johnny, Carmen, and Rosa, they don't see Miguel. They go to the PT room. They don't see him. And Sal Miguel's on the move because he spots Sam getting water in a different part of All Valley Sports Complex, the underbelly. So he's made a move strategically to avoid them and not go out, and runs into Sam and just basically says, it's a very heartfelt exchange. And there's so much dialogue in this episode that we have so many of these scenes we break down, but some I'm trying to streamline a little bit. Sure, but essentially the heart of it is they have this exchange. She's getting ready for her match. And Miguel just mentions Johnny isn't my dad. And it's like, wow, that, because she's talking about her dad's always pushing her. And it's like, yeah, but Johnny's not my dad. It's like, wow. And then she's like, well, hopefully you go out there in the stands and be rooting for me. And he just says, I'm always rooting for you, Sam. That's all he had to say. He didn't say I'm going to be out there. I had a feeling like, wow, he's really just, he's bowing out, exit stage left. This is the saber-toothed tiger, I would say. But,
Snagglepuss.
Snagglepuss. Well, isn't that what he is though?
Snagglepuss was a saber-toothed tiger. You're right.
Yes, you're right. So then they kiss, and it's a beautiful moment. No matter what happens, they're probably tighter than ever through all this, and that's a really beautiful thing to see. Yeah,
it was. It was a nice moment. Because remember, before this, they were fighting, right?
They were, but they still were like questioning, feelings, if the other person had feelings for Robbie or Tori and all this stuff, and all this teenage drama. But at the root of it, these two care for each other. Yeah, and it's great, and they're really great at karate. So they are the future of the dojos in the valley. And then Sam has to report to the center mat. Because, Sal, it's finals time. And the grand champion, Cobra Kai, wins one match, and they take the cake. And Miyagi-Do has to win both matches to win. So it's really down to these two dojos. Eagle Fang has been eliminated along with all the other dojos. Yeah. This is it. But we also know what's at stake. And that is what?
Oh, that whoever loses has to shut down officially?
Yes.
Right? Miyagi-Do potentially has to close their doors. Eagle Fang will have to close their doors, or Cobra Kai if they lose. That was the agreement anyway.
I think Eagle Fang is still connected to Miyagi-Do in the agreement. So even though Eagle Fang's been eliminated, they could stay open if Miyagi-Do wins. Daniel could pull a fast one.
I like it. That's a technicality for one. Or if Miyagi-Do didn't place, then Eagle Fang won, then they could have stayed.
Yeah.
If anything, they would have had an advantage then just by their sheer numbers over Cobra Kai, because you have two dojos against one effectively.
Exactly. And what does Daryl have to say here?
Good luck to all of our fighters. Let's go.
Let's go. And I wonder if that's a tip of the cap to Tom Brady, because he's always saying that. Let's go. I mean, a lot of people say it, but he even has a podcast named Let's Go.
Okay.
But I also like the fact that the boys fight first, thus making the girls match the main event. And that was really great to see. That you don't usually see that. You wouldn't usually see that, but this is the first time we've had boys and girls in All Valley. So
yeah, you know what, I will say that, as much as I love UFC, I think UFC, I don't know if they make a lot of female fights. If you have a men's title on the line and a women's title on the line, the women's aren't going to headline the evening. They're not.
No, that's why they flipped the script here. This is not the norm, and I'm glad they did it.
I think it's really cool. It's really good.
And it plays into the storyline much better, of course.
Sure.
That's probably why they did it. Otherwise, it was like more about story than it was just about doing it for the right reasons. And then Sal, Robbie, 2-time finalist, is in the fight, and his father, Johnny, 3-time finalist, 2-time champ, no mention of the father-son connection. Would have been a good time for that, I would think.
Well, on one hand, Robbie's not Robbie Lawrence.
That's why they don't know. It's just right over their head.
Yeah, like maybe people don't know. Maybe.
It's got to be.
I don't know. But yeah, that is something that I think will have to be like gossip in the stands. Like, oh, that guy, Robbie, that's his son. Yeah. I don't think that maybe it's not above board,
No. But then Silver, Kreese and Silver talk with Robbie, their little pep talk. And what does Silver have to say here?
Silver says, time to show LaRusso and your father that you don't need them, that you're strong enough on your own.
And then Daniel talks to Eli.
And Daniel says, this fight is not about him, meaning Robbie.
Yeah.
The biggest battle is always the one within. Okay, concentrate, defense, focus, power. You find your balance, and those points will come.
Yeah, that's a lot to throw at somebody right before they go in. It's like, okay, I just do this, that, and the other, and you'll be fine.
In other words, everything.
Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Stupid. Come on. But sorry, Daniel. And it's rematch time, Sal, because let's go back in time.
I know. Talk about revisiting. 10, I forgot.
Yeah. Robbie fought Hawk. I guess it's the first time he's fighting Eli. No, they fought. And that was the semifinals, and it was 1-1. And then Hawk retaliated on something that happened and kicks him in the back.
Yes.
Not looking, not while they're fighting, by the way, in between when they're fighting, and Hawk gets DQ'd. So this is a rematch that I'm excited for. This is great. This is the finals, and we've seen this before, and it was a 1-1. So it's like, they have a cool history in All Valley. I love this.
Yeah.
And then it's Robbie Keane versus Eli Muskowitz. And it's on, Sal. And Keane comes out with a stomach punch. Point 1-0. And Sal, Robbie gets a little too excited here. And Eli calls timeout. Hey, where were these in the Karate Kid, Sal?
Yeah, fighters can call timeouts, and I guess the senseis can call timeouts.
And then the refs can call timeouts. And that's normal, but I'm just seeing a lot more timeouts in this All Valley than I've ever seen before.
Well, look, because you're a big football fan, that timeouts are a huge strategy.
And they're precious. There's only 3, that's it.
In a football game.
Yeah.
Only 3 per team.
3 per team.
Okay, so I wonder if they have any limitations on the fighters. How many times can a fighter call a timeout or their?
Well, that's what we don't know.
Yeah,
that's what we don't know.
Because if it's a strategy, then I'll use it. I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, it is 3 per team, but it's 3 per half. Let me just be clear. A game, there's 6, but we just look at it in halves, and you have 3.5. And sometimes you have to use a timeout to warrant an instant replay. So you really hang on to them, because if you burn one early, it's like, oh, we don't have a timeout. It's crucial in football. In basketball, you get more, but you only have so many. But maybe it's unlimited. This is kids' athletics. I get it, but I've just never seen this many moments. It's great for us as fans. We can relish these moments, and they can run over and have these exchanges. But, go back to the historical Karate Kids. Miyagi had to go to the mat literally to have a quick powwow with Danielson.
Yeah, how
the
about
Karate
that?
Kid Part 3.
Yes.
It wasn't like, I'm going to call a timeout here. Let's get LaRusso over here. It's just kind of different, but times have changed.
Very interesting. Every time I think you just said something about kids. I forget they're kids. This is so intense. The All Valley is so intense. I forget it's under 18. These are officially
children.
Yes, officially.
I know. So Eli is concerned that Robbie knows the moves, and rightfully so, Sal. Yeah. But Daniel flips the script here, like this show does. And what does he say?
Well, Daniel.
Well, not say, but this is more. Sorry, I didn't mean to throw you off there. He flips the script so much, Sal, that it reminded me of a great song that we know very well. And this is just a little rendition for you, because this is what Daniel's doing here. And it blew me away. And go ahead and take this little moment, if you will.
It's the moment of truth. It's all on the line. This is the place. This is the time. Waited forever. It's now or it's never. Nothing can stop you now. I love it.
So good. Well done, Sal. Really, really well done. Yeah, I almost threw you off there. But what does Daniel say? Because he really is. I feel like this is the spirit running through Daniel right now.
Oh, is this what you're talking about, where he says you were in Cobra Kai longer than Robbie, right? Yep. You know each other's karate better than anyone. Put him on defense.
Yeah, Sal, he knows he's got to capture this moment. He's starting to realize, I can't just stay in this box. Maybe there's some other ways. I don't know all the way. And of course, that song, I just felt like the energy was there. And Eli's like, yeah, okay, you're right. And that's a great call, because he was in Cobra Kai longer. Yeah. He does know those moves. So great coaching here, Sensei Danielson. And it's an incredible, epic battle. I mean, this is amazing. They're both attempting jumping front kicks. Eli connects point 1-1, just like that, just like their old fight. It's 1-1. Next, we have kicks, hits, fakes, blocks, jumps, takedowns, gis coming undone.
Yeah,
which does happen, Sal, by the way. When I'm sparring so many times, your gi does start to come undone, and you think it's intentional. It's not. But I like that Robbie's is the one that this happens to.
But you're not allowed to grab your opponent's gi in tournaments, are you?
You know what? It depends. I don't know their rules. There are some that know, others probably so. If they're doing these takedowns, I'm assuming you're going to grab gi. Right? Okay. So
well, that's the thing about, like, you know, with how big Brazilian jiu-jitsu has gotten, and you have the gi and the no gi jiu-jitsu, because some practitioners believe that if I'm wearing a gi, you can, as my opponent, can use it to your advantage.
Yeah.
My own gi.
Hey, in football, back to football, I like to take things. If someone has dreadlocks are a part of the uniform.
Oh,
you can yank a dreadlock.
Holy
cow. Not like you can't pull his hair because they chose to have it and they keep it down, and it happens. Running backs have them. Now, a lot of times it's defensive backs, and they're probably less likely to get pulled down, but yeah, it's part of the uniform. And I was thinking of some fighting when I was, younger, we wore these gloves. You really couldn't grab. It was gloves, and you wore headgear and padding on your feet. So grabbing probably wasn't a thing, but there's none of that in this All Valley. So I'm assuming those takedowns, you can grab gi, for leverage. But this, again, is an incredible fight sequence. And I got to say, Sal, it may be one of the best fight sequences in Cobra Kai and Karate Kid history.
That's saying a lot, but it's like I said in the beginning, if you're a fight fan, this is the episode for you. There is fights galore, and I'm loving these fights. I really am.
This one's amazing.
I love seeing this.
It's like fighting a mirror. These two guys are so evenly matched, and they both know each other's dojo styles. That's cool. I love that.
Except Robbie doesn't have any tattoos.
No, he does not yet.
Yet.
And then the 3-minute time limit expires. Sal, we're going to sudden death overtime. We haven't been there since
Karate Kid 3.
That's right. Karate Kid Part 3. We went to OT, and now another timeout. Both fighters go have quick chats with your senseis, and Sal, Robbie decides not to fix his gi. But what does he do?
He decides to just take it off. He takes off his, well, not the whole gi, but what do you call it? The top. The top. Okay, takes off the top portion of the gi along with the belt. And Robbie's built. Robbie's been working out. That's for sure.
I don't know if did he take his belt off?
I think the belt was, the belt was already off.
I thought Eli kept his on. I'd have to go back. I'm not going to look right now. But anyway, he does it. And then I was immediately saying, oh, Eli's doing it. I thought of the back tattoo right away. Did you know it as well? I knew it was coming. The minute Eli looked at him, it was like, oh, it's coming off.
No, but I'm glad that he did.
Oh yeah, it made for a better scene.
Yeah,
it also looks like something out of a movie.
Yeah, like they both look great. They're both in great shape. Both in great shape. I would imagine they don't just do more. I would imagine all the cast does karate now at this point.
Well, think about it.
But they're also lifting weights too.
Absolutely. If you're on the show from season 1, like Devin's very new, but think about the people like these guys, for instance. They've been around since season 1. They were doing martial arts then. Well, we got many years of that now. With that, you can push things further. You can you're more comfortable with this takedown now. So the trainers and the stunt people can work with them more, and thus production goes up. And if all this time, more time than, Daniel ever had in the Karate Kid. I mean, this is like, this show keeps coming back. Everyone gets better. Everyone gets better. So yeah, I love it. Yeah. Ralphmacchio and, Patmorita didn't have that type of time in the Karate Kid. No, it was just a movie. Here's X amount of time, work with Pat E. Johnson, among others. And then, kind of get ready. So this leads to another amazing. You just think it's, that they raised the bar. No, 3-minute warning. Okay. Also overtime. I should point this out. It's next point wins. That's what sudden death means in this go around, which also happened in Karate Kid Part 3. And then in this incredible sequence, Robbie does a backflip, which is ridiculous, off Eli. Like he's going towards him. He does a backflip off of him. And then Eli does one of those incredible moves, which Johnny did in the Karate Kid. Those, you go to the ground, but you spring yourself back up.
Yeah. Have you ever been able to do that?
Close.
Yeah.
I'm not when I grew and got taller, that became harder.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not a big acrobatics guy. I'll do certain things, but that I never was great at. I
don't even know what you call that. You're on your back and you do like a spring back to your feet.
It's like yeah, exactly. But the way it happens though, Eli comes up and he's like hovering there for a second.
Yeah. Almost like a crouching tiger, hidden dragon.
It looked cool.
Yeah.
And then he tackles Robbie, and then there's counters, and it's like, oh my gosh, they're playing chess. They're like one move ahead, but they know how to defend it. It's just so well, choreographed and orchestrated. But Sal, Robbie could end it. He has a moment.
Oh yeah.
But what happens?
Yeah, he had that moment where he's about to deliver almost
him down.
A death punch. And then he looks over, he sees Kenny. Kenny's yelling. He's seen Kenny's aggressiveness and his anger. Yep. And I guess it kind of throws Robbie off. So then it gives Eli an opportunity to throw Robbie off of him, right?
Yeah. That moment looked like forever, but it's in slow motion. So you probably bam, bam, bam. It's like a bang, bang thing. He's about to hit him, looks up, and that second's gone. Like in a fight. Yeah. Eli's come to and flipped him off. And then Eli rallies and the battle continues. And like what happens in fighting, and you could attest to this, fatigue sets in.
Oh, yeah.
You can see it. They did a good job of portraying it. Okay, I've been going at this for a while. I mean, Sal, you could even speak to hitting a punching bag for a minute or 2 minutes. You've got to be in good shape. You will gas yourself out.
Yeah. And you can be in good shape, but even at the height of my fitness, when I used to run marathons, I would run a marathon in 3 hours, 40 minutes, which is very respectable. And then I'd be like, oh, I'm in great shape. I'm gonna go swimming. And then I go swimming. I'd be dying after 5 minutes of swimming. It's a totally different activity.
Very different. Yeah. You've got to get used to punching and kicking, not to mention adrenaline and controlling that adrenaline. I've sparred with people where you're super nervous because they might be a belt or 2 belts higher.
Yeah.
And you're controlling your nerves is its own thing. Okay, I got to counter here. It's all fatiguing you. And then you're sweating more. It's exhilarating, but it's exhausting. And Eli does a spinning back heel. Robbie blocks, takes him down. So you're like, oh my gosh, how is this going to go? Who's going to win? Eli back heel kick point winner. Sal, I had no idea they were going to go there. Eli is champ. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Pretty amazing. I'm very, very happy for him.
Yes.
Very happy for him. I didn't necessarily need Robbie to win. No offense to Robbie, but I didn't need Robbie to win. I'm very happy that Eli won.
Well, I didn't know they'd do this because Robbie's already lost the All Valley finals once. So now he's a 2-time loser. I just thought, what are the odds? Is the show going to go here? You look at it like, well, Eli's gone further than he's ever been. So that's great, right? And then Robbie could probably win. But no, they threw me for a curve there. However, Sal, I should have seen this coming because Eli called his shot last episode when he said what?
Oh, yeah. When he says, I know who I am now. I'm the guy who's going to win this whole fucking thing. Yeah. Well, that was moments after being kissed by Moon. I'll tell you, see the magic of Moon. That's why I'm a Moon worshiper.
Yes. And
the actual Moon, but that, but yeah.
And Moon from Cobra Kai.
And Moon from Cobra Kai. She is gorgeous. So Eli wins. I'm big time excited. Very happy for him.
Yeah.
And are we led to believe that if Robbie hadn't been distracted by that little moment with Kenny, where some emotion kicked in or something, or just a distraction, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's no asterisk on this fight.
No.
Eli won. It was just a moment. It happens. It happens in fighting. So I think they were showing us like, hey, Robbie could have done it. But there's head games, things going on. Yeah. But I'm not even thinking about it. Eli's our champ. It was his destiny.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'll go one step further. Yeah. I think he would have beaten Miguel because he's so focused in his determination and that moon kiss. And Miguel was already kind of, he was going through the motions. And and sometimes, yes, he had the old injury, but that back injury, the little tweak probably happened because his body and spirit weren't in the same place.
No, yeah.
He was somewhere else. And guess what? Something's going to happen. It's like not warming up properly, or you're just not focused. And you're like, well, I'm in this, but not really. And you can't trick your body.
No, but you know what this also is that, yes, Eli did a great job. Absolutely. And deserves to win. But it also shows you that sometimes the odds can kind of be in your favor. The stars will be aligned in your favor. So because of what's going on with Miguel, what happened with Miguel, because of what's going on with Robbie and what's going on in his head, Eli had a little bit of an advantage because, yes, he was more focused than his competitors.
Championships in all sports, you got to have luck just to get through. Does the best team always win a championship? Absolutely not. I've seen great teams, even this last NFL playoffs, lose an early playoff game. And then 3 rounds later, you're like, oh, they would have mopped up both teams in the Super Bowl. Well, they only would have played one of them, but you know what I mean?
Sure.
And it's like, well, they didn't get past that point. The stars didn't align. The ball bounced another way. And that's all it is. I mean, let's go back to the Karate Kid Part 3. Everything lined up for Daniel to come in and just get 1 point in overtime. I mean, come on. He was not in shape. He might have been in shape, but he wasn't in fighting shape.
No.
He wasn't in All Valley shape. He wouldn't have made it through that tournament and met Barnes in the final. It just wouldn't have happened.
No, not in a tournament style. Because remember, tournaments aren't like, most mixed martial arts boxing. They go out, they fight once for the night, and they're done. It could be grueling, but it's just one fight. Tournament, give respect where respect is due. People are fighting multiple fights in a day. That's crazy.
And I'm glad you brought that up because this is going to be a future special episode on Let's Talk Cobra Kai. But we are going to break down Daniel's triumphant run in the Karate Kid. The original Karate Kid, his All Valley Championship run, because having gone back and done all this research, it's like you'll marvel at how many people he fought that day. Even in this day and age, in this All Valley, they're not doing nearly as many fights, and they had less time to recover. Maybe that's why they didn't have enough time. You got to keep fighting, get back in there.
Yeah,
it was a marathon. But anyway,
15 minutes, get out here.
Yeah, we got to go. You have 5 more fights before you get to the finals. So anyway, it's a great discussion for another. It's also a great discussion for another episode, Sal. But Daryl comes out, your boy, and gives Eli a trophy, right? Rightfully so. Here's a trophy that, Johnny gives Daniel and the original Karate Kid. However, if you look behind them, no other trophies have been handed out yet. So I love that it's like, hey, yeah, we'll do the championship trophy first, but what about second, third, fourth? But we'll have another trophy discussion as well later. But I just noticed that it's kind of funny.
It's kind of like, isn't it the case with either the Oscars or the Golden Globes where they don't put every award recipient on TV? Only like the 20 or something. They don't
Right.
put like, as you go down further.
Yeah, now that
down
All Valley's gotten so big, it's like, yeah, we'll give those trophies away. But I'm just saying they haven't even handed them out yet, even behind the scenes, because they're still over there. But I do love that Eli has his big trophy. He's earned it. Yep. And guess what? Now they're even with Cobra Kai. And now it's winner take all. Sets that up nicely. And Miyagi-Do celebrates. And of course, and that's vaults him into the lead. But while this is going on, Sal, Johnny's a little unsettled because he didn't win. This isn't Eagle Fang is hanging in the balance, and it's all riding on Miyagi-Do, and he's not part of Miyagi-Do per se. And then Robbie heads to the locker room because he just lost, and it's a lot to take in, and he's got a lot going on. Robbie more than most. Him and Miguel probably had the most spinning around in their universe right now.
Yeah.
And so I like that Tori kind of chases him down. And I like what she says. Robbie, you all right? Call back there, just a little call back.
You think so? To you're right, LaRusso.
Yeah, you're all right, LaRusso. Just the cadence of it reminded me of it. It definitely wasn't by accident. Robbie, you all right? Just that little, but anyway. And Robbie and her have a quick exchange. He's actually more clear-headed than I, would have thought. He's just wanted to process it. Right?
Yeah, I think that Robbie, as emotional as he can get, I think like he's okay with losing. Like he doesn't have to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, he's trying to think about other things. He's got a lot, like I said, the Kenny moment really impacted him. Yeah. And rather than be huffy puffy, he's like, you know what? I'm gonna he clear his head. And he has a nice exchange with her. They get along great. But as he leaves, someone else enters. A lot of activity in the outside the locker rooms here.
But yeah, all these awkward interactions
taking place. The bowels of All Valley.
Yeah, Amanda walks in. Amanda walks in and she's face to face now with Tori. They have a brief interaction.
Yes, and they mentioned Dr. Hillier. I guess she's been going to Dr. Hillier therapy.
I think we're assuming that, a psychologist.
And she basically, Amanda's like, I don't want you to hurt Sam, but she's not there to bargain with her. Like, hey, for a second, Sal, I thought, what's this? Is this a throw the match type conversation? Yeah, I'm sure everyone thought that. Yeah. And she doesn't want Sam getting hurt, but more than anything, she wants this conflict to end. But Sam, I just got to say, Amanda probably has great intentions, no doubt about it. But this is also very poor timing.
Wait, hang on.
And unfair
after Anthony.
Story. Yeah, exactly.
After Anthony, and then the LaRussos. Horrible at timing.
Horrible timing. That was an alt title for this episode. Yeah, and it's also unfair to Tori as a competitor.
I think so. I think almost you would probably be getting into breaking the rules at this point. I mean, for a parent to be approaching their child's competitor backstage, I mean, I'm sure that the board would frown on this.
Yeah. And maybe it was by design, but maybe Amanda's like, this is my moment. They're in the finals. I want to say something, but I just don't think it should have been now. I mean, what's going to happen in the match? Tori's going to kill Samantha. Samantha's very tough. And even Tori's like, it's karate. Someone might get hurt.
Yeah, exactly. We're not playing chess here. Yeah. Well, we are playing chess, physical chess.
Physical.
But yeah, we're not sitting down to a game of chess. Someone might get hurt here.
Yeah. I mean, again, I love Amanda. I just think it was, not good timing and very unwarranted. Yep. And now the stage is getting set, Sal. Daniel approaches Johnny in this touching, long overdue conversation, Sal.
Wow. I mean, we had to get to this, but look at Daniel. Wow. Daniel is really grown.
Yeah. Everybody's growing. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. I wonder if I'm growing. Everybody on the show's growing. I wonder if I'm growing.
You are, Sal. Absolutely. Go ahead and give us Daniel's wonderful speech, which I'll take the other voices, and one voice is from the past, which we love hearing from.
Yes. So. Daniel approaches Johnny. He says, I want your help. Look, you and I may be set in our ways, but these kids, they're still growing. They can learn from both of us and use what we teach them to create their own way. I guess I didn't want that to happen because I cared so much about honoring Mr. Miyagi's legacy, but I forgot one of his most important lessons.
And then, Sal, we hear from Mr. Miyagi from The Karate Kid Part 3. just like bonsai. Choose own way, grow, because root strong. You choose own way, do karate. Same reason. And they're sitting there kind of repotting the bonsai on the,
that
the
special
beautiful, the beautiful background. Yeah, it's just like, wow, he's having this quick little moment with him. And then also from The Karate Kid Part 3, Daniel in response says,
Daniel says, yeah, but I do it your way.
And Miyagi continues, hai, which means yes in Japanese. One day you do own way. And Daniel's remembering this, right? So it's like, it's sinking in. He's having his own stuff.
There's a lot of flashbacks in this episode, and it really got me thinking: are all of us now, as adults, we're just kind of walking around, kind of being run today by our past trauma and triumph, whatever it was. That's what propels us today, because it seems like every time somebody does something on the show, it relates back to some old memory of either pain or party or pain, either one.
I guess if you haven't confronted it, Sal, it's there.
So Daniel continues, I was scared of the influence you were having on Sam, but I see now some of what you teach can be good sometimes. And I'm sorry I didn't realize that sooner.
So all of this, Daniel is sharing to Johnny. And I love the way Johnny's just receiving it. He's just standing there like, wow. His guard's going down. Finally. I mean, listen, I love these guys. And I love nothing more when they're getting along. Yeah. So he's accepting it. He's not being standoffish, Johnny. And he says, I'm sorry too. That's all he had to say, Sal. I'm in. I love it. They're going to get along just great. I saw you and Miguel bonding and I freaked out. I was afraid of losing that connection. Now I'm paying the price for it. I should have just let you train him. Or I should have just let him train with you. He would have been a stronger fighter. Admitting he was wrong, Sal. Admitting that egos, using the kids as pawns. And there's a lot right here. These guys are really growing before our eyes.
And then Daniel responds back, well, since it seems like the water is flowing back under the bridge, what do you say we team up again?
You want me to help Miyagi-Do win?
Miyagi Fang. Just for today.
And Johnny takes that in and says, let's do this.
Right before he responds, let's do this, he looks over and we see Kreese and Silver.
Yeah.
So he bounces from Daniel, sees Kreese and Silver, then goes back to Daniel and does the let's do this. So yeah he's motivated.
And that funky Cold Medina. Oh, let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Oh yeah, the beginning of Funky Cold Medina.
Sorry, not let's do this. I was doing an alt version of Funky Cold Medina, but I love it. They're in now. This is the first and last time we talk about Miyagi Fang. They don't change it on the board. No. I was thinking that's strange, but just for these guys coming together, shaking hands, and they are part of the team. They did train together for many, many months, or a few at least, and then they went their separate ways because their egos drove them there. But I love this great moment, and it's showtime, and Daryl is center stage, Sal, and he's ripping as usual, getting the crowd in a frenzy.
Yeah. Daryl says, representing Cobra Kai, the Queen Cobra herself, Tori Nichols, coached by her senseis, John Kreese and Terry Silver, and representing Miyagi-Do Karate, the bonsai badass, Samantha LaRusso, coached by her father and sensei, two-time All-Valley champion, Daniel LaRusso, who I've just been informed will be joined by Sensei Johnny Lawrence.
Now, Sal, before you continue, when I was watching this, the original time, first time, I was like, I would told Sophia, this has to be fixed. That they keep overlooking this.
Yeah.
And a credit to the show, because what happens?
A credit to the show, but a credit to Daniel. Look what Daniel does. Daniel runs over right in the middle of Daryl's speech. Daryl continues. And then he pauses. Daniel whispers in his ear, and Daryl continues. I stand corrected. Fellow two-time All-Valley champion, Sensei Johnny Lawrence. Let's go.
There it is again.
Wow.
Amazing. He gets his props. Johnny doesn't smile, but you know who was checking this out and almost forced Daniel's hand was Samantha.
Oh,
because Daniel, she looked at him, they saw each other, and then he went straight over there because she knew, like, hey, he's my other sensei. And he's getting, I'm glad it wasn't Samantha that went out there. It's beautiful that it was Daniel.
Yeah.
And if it was Johnny, it would have been pathetic.
Right. Be sure you introduce me as
yeah, I'm a 2-timer, almost a 3.
Yeah. So I got to hand it to Daniel. Daniel in these last few moments, very, very impressive.
Yeah. On that note. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I'm really on board with Daniel here.
Oh, huge. On that note about going out and talking to Daryl, it would have been hilarious if Silver ran out there on Kreese's behalf. He's a 4-time winning sensei. I stand corrected a second time. Yeah, that would have been really.
That would have been hilarious.
So now Tori chats with Kreese and Silver, and Robbie's back. Cool, calm Robbie. Great to see him there to support his fellow, classmate, student. I also like the fact that we haven't talked about this, but all the other dojos are just lined up. It's not like you lost and you bailed and went home. Topanga's there watching, everyone's there, not to mention, of course, the crowd, but I love that other dojos stand in unison and take this in firsthand. It just kind of builds the excitement.
Yeah.
And Sam talks with Johnny and Daniel, and Sal, this ends with a very, very touching hug.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Have we ever seen Sam and Daniel hug?
Rarely. I mean, there was an episode that they went out in the boat that day, and they're father, daughter, and they're very close. But this, with all that they've been through recently, and her really wanting to learn Johnny's style, at least in the dojos, it was like, and then he says, go kick some Cobra Kai ass. Nice. And hugs him. And it's like, just your heart is full of joy. And go Sam, right?
Yeah.
Go Miyagi Do.
And I'm loving Sam's look. I think her look is sort of a tip of the hat to Chun-Li from Street Fighter.
Yeah, good
and
call.
Especially some of these positions that she gets into.
Yes,
I'm loving it. She looks fantastic.
Well, the match begins, and Sam's on the offense. She comes out with the flying tornado kick, Sal, to Tori's head. Point 1-0.
Yeah.
And what's Amanda say when she sees this incredible thing go into motion?
Amanda exclaims, "Holy shit!"
That was a good Amanda look too. So.
Yeah. Was it one of these things where maybe Amanda didn't even know that Sam was capable of such a thing? Maybe.
Yeah, because she's thinking, I don't want Tori to kill her. Just hurt her a little. Oh, wait, hang on a second. What am I worried about?
There we go. Yeah, she didn't realize that her own daughter was so much of an ass kicker. I guess she didn't even realize that. Really,
she's a mother, So looking out. And then Daniel is impressed, and that's when he learns the name of this kick because Johnny enlightens him. And Tori's concerned, Sal, and runs over and talks with the senseis because I didn't see anyone call a timeout. But I guess it's okay if you need to go over and have an exchange. It's fine.
I think Sam does that or did that at some point.
Oh yeah,
she just ran off. Like everybody can just like run off at any given point.
Hey, so I always feel bad for tennis players. I'm not a big tennis fan. I used to be growing up, but in tennis, you watch, they can't even go talk to their coach. They're literally on an island and their coaches are in the stands. They can only work with them before after the match.
Right.
They just sit there and sulk. And like in golf, you have your caddy and you're always chit-chatting.
And I know that there was a controversy in tennis where like the coach was giving special, signals and they got in trouble.
Exactly. Yeah. You have to figure it out. You have no one to talk to. Well, they've made All Valley a little more inclusive. Like, hey, there's probably extra water breaks and there's probably a lot of stuff, that in this All Valley.
We got snacks backstage.
You need a snack. How's your blood sugar? Okay. we're running an app. We're checking how you guys all doing.
Yeah. Every competitor that has a peanut allergy is listed.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, this is a great exchange. And, after the timeout, and they're both on the attack, and this is just like the last fight, the finals for the boys. It was basically Eli versus Robbie. They're just like tit for tat. They know each other's moves, but they're great counters and this, that, and the other. And then Tori gets a stomach punch. Point 1-1. So yeah, one gets a point, the other one gets a point, and then Sam does a flurry of kicks. Very impressive. and Tori does a spinning side kick, 0.21. Uh-oh, our girl's in trouble, Sal. She is in trouble. And Sam has a similar moment with her senseis, which you just spoke to, runs over, chit-chats with her senseis. No real timeout, but a quick exchange.
Wait, hang on, Jason.
Oh, yeah.
You use the phrase "our girl," meaning Sam.
Yeah,
right?
Sorry.
No, but you know what? The last few episodes, us, the viewer, and then through Amanda's actions, we're kind of feeling for Tori. Like Tori, right? Like Tori's kind of becoming our girl too now at this point. I mean, our heart is opening, you know.
That was not disrespect for Tori. Just you had just said this about her reminding you of these fighters. So yeah, I know you're pro Sam, but we're also pro Tori more than I've ever been. Yeah. So good point. I'll retract.
I mean, in other words, I don't wish any ill will on Tori.
I want to see this thing just keep going, much like the boys' final. Like, boom, 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 boom. But I don't want to see Tori pull ahead and win 3-1. Right. Yeah. So she has the lead now. And I was like, Sam's in trouble. How about that? Sam is in trouble. And she runs over to the senseis and has a quick exchange. No official timeout. Wasn't on the books. And Sam says, I'm attacking, but it's not working. What style should I use? Because she's confused, Sal. Yeah. They've studied their moves. She's learned how to attack. But again, it's like fighting a mirror. It's like or a wall. It just keeps coming back. And what does Daniel say?
Yeah, Daniel says, yours. Trust your instincts. Use everything you've learned from me and Sensei Lawrence. All of it.
Yes.
Leave it all out there. That's another expression you would relate to that. Just leave it out there on the floor. Leave it out there on the mat. Everything you know, everything you do.
And what does Johnny say?
Your dad's right. Every now and then.
Yeah. In this instance, he's right. All right. And then Sam, hearkening back to Daniel and the Karate Kid Part 3, gets ready, like you were saying a minute ago, does these whole moves, and he's doing that, which is freaking Mike Barnes out.
Yeah, I'd forgotten about that. Yes.
On Daniel's 1 point.
Yeah. Mike Barnes is like, what the hell are you doing?
What's he doing? And then they're saying, go get the point. Silver's yelling at him and Kreese is yelling at him. Go get the point. The point. Well, this is why you don't, if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, go back and watch Karate Kid and listen to our special episode. They, being Silver and Kreese, bought time, took it out on Daniel, had Barnes really make a mockery of Daniel, win a point, lose a point, win a point, lose a point, forcing overtime. So this cruel behavior could continue and continue, but you run the risk of 1 point takes all.
Yeah. You run the risk because their idea, unfortunately, back to Karate Kid 3, wasn't to win the All Valley per se. It was to make Daniel suffer. And that's what they were trying to do.
And win All Valley.
And then win. But unfortunately, in their strategy to make Daniel suffer, it backfired.
And he goes into this move. And of course, Mr. Miyagi gave him the wisdom and the confidence he needed. And he goes into this thing that Samantha is doing here. And Tori is confused, much like Mike Barnes was. And the fight continues. And Samantha does a stomach punch. No point. Out of bounds. Sal, that's a bad call.
Well, because if Tori went out of bounds, why should Samantha be? I mean, like if you push your opponent out of bounds,
out of bounds, it's like reset. However, Sam did. I watched this thing in slow motion. And I'm very unbiased here, but Samantha does hit her in bounds, but then she steps out of bounds. And even Johnny's like, she was in bounds when she hit her, but the ref didn't see it that way. So that's no point. It's a reset.
Okay. So but it's not like sumo wrestling. Like the main point of sumo wrestling is to throw your opponent out of that circle area. So like if you push your opponent out of bounds, you're not rewarded for doing so.
In fact, if you kept pushing an opponent out of bounds, you might get deducted. Or if you kept running out of bounds.
I see.
I think in the Karate Kid, Daniel runs out of bounds one time because he's scared. He doesn't know what to think. And so, that can happen. But this just negated the point. And now we reset and we go back and forth until Sam does a double punch. And it's awesome.
That's Street Fighter right there.
2-2. That was straight up. That was great. And with 2-2, the drama intensifies. This is basically sudden death. We're not at the 3-minute mark. In fact, I kept thinking, are they going to take this match there too? Because this went on for a while, right?
Yeah.
Well, the battle goes on. Like I said, the drama intensifies, and they do mutual takedown and an accidental elbow to Sam's eye and their official timeout.
Yeah, Sam's right eye.
She takes it right on the eye, and it's already like darkening.
Yeah.
It was a tough hit. But Tori, she was concerned. It was not intentional.
Look what's happening to Tori. Tori's kind of loosening up, kind of lightening up, kind of her heart. It's like, ever since she laid her head on Robbie's chest at the dance at the junior prom, that's when she started letting her guard down. So, I don't know. On one hand, I like people opening up to vulnerability, but on the other hand, look out. It can come back to bite you.
Well, Sal, Johnny wants a point deduction for that, going back to Karate Kid Part 3, but Silver has other instructions.
Yeah. Silver says to her, she comes in like that again, give her a shot to the other eye. She can't see, she can't fight.
Sal, we know that. Those are those Quicksilver rules.
There they go. He doesn't let up.
And then Tori says, won't I get disqualified?
Why? She ran into your elbow. Do exactly what you just did. Disguise it in a counter. Worst you'll get is another warning. Trust me, this ref will never end the match on a technicality.
What does he mean by that? Sal?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know. Like, does he know something? Does he?
Yeah.
Like, why would he say that? Has he been through this before? I don't know.
We'll come back to that. Tori continues. It was an accident. I don't need to cheat to win. And then Kreese reflects and he looks at Johnny. Oh gosh, this is good. Sal, this is when I was watching the episode and it took me to new levels. Like, oh my, this show's manipulating me now because I'm just like, hold on a second. I'm putty in your hands. What's happening here? And let's go through this, if you will. So Johnny, going back to the Karate Kid Part 2, opening sequence, audio only initially, because Kreese is looking at Johnny across the way. And Johnny can be heard saying, that's not fair. I got second place.
Yeah. And we at first hear Kreese, but then we see him saying, second place is no place. You're off the team. You're nothing. You lost. You're a loser.
You suck.
Yeah.
And then Bobby chimes in and says, hey, come on, man.
Don't. Come on. Who's the loser now?
And Johnny again says, you suck.
Come on. Who's the loser? I don't hear you.
And this is right when he's ripped the trophy, torn it apart, and has Johnny in a headlock. So this is all before Mr. Miyagi comes over and intervenes.
Yeah.
But this is that shakedown when, he goes off the rails. I mean, remember Karate Kid Part 2, Kreese comes out of All Valley Sports Complex and he's mad. He walks by Daniel and Mr. Miyagi and Pat E. Johnson and the guy I like to call Tex. Yep. And he's just like, I'm surprised he didn't grab Daniel's trophy and breaks that too. But then he storms off and attacks his students. So this is that sequence right here. And Kreese, of all people, Sal, I know that you tend to have a soft spot for Kreese, and I'm not going to lie. Mine began to open back up here. Like, oh yeah, there's a human being in there. Because he's looking at Johnny thinking, oh my God, what the hell? Silver's reminding me of who I was back then. But before we go any further, how about a word from Kreese is finally seeing the flaws of his ways.
Yeah.
But as this played out, Sal, I noticed that this version was a very alternate, abbreviated version from the Karate Kid Part 2, because I had gone back for research of All Valley. And just bear with me, but this is how it went down in the movie. So this was a different version. I got confirmation online reading the fact that the showrunners used outtakes from the Karate Kid Part 2 to establish some of this dialogue. Wow. Because Johnny does not say you suck, in that exchange, that at the end, that way. He says the word, but not like that. You suck, you suck. So here's how it went down in the Karate Kid Part 2. And I'm going to just say the lines just so we don't get lost. So Johnny says, hey, come on, that's not fair. I got second place. And Kreese to that says, second place is no place. You're off the team. That sucks. I did my best. What did you say? I said, I did my best. You're nothing. You lost. You're a loser. No, you're the loser, man. Oh, I'm the loser, huh? Yeah. Now who's the loser? Because he's ranking that trophy, that second place trophy. You're really sick, man. And then Tommy Tommy, rest in peace, chimes in, hey. And then Bobby says, hey, come on, man. And then Tommy comes back and says, hey, what are you doing? And Kreese finally says, don't, like holding those guys off. He's even swinging at those guys. He's got Johnny. He's popping them. How does second place feel now? Huh? So that is the scene, the real to life scene, but they wanted to abbreviate it, make it shorter, tighter. And therefore I just elongated it and gave you the original.
Okay. So, but you don't think that in Kreese's head, he wasn't as evil in that?
Oh, no. That has nothing to do with it. I'm not taking away from the
still
moment.
Has that
I'm saying
regret.
The showrunner said we have to condense this.
I see. Interesting.
So for our fans, I'm going to let you know that that was the reality. This is what happened.
Nice.
By the way, no impact. Kreese is still like, he's taking it in. He knows what he did. I'm just showing you what they did on the show.
Yeah.
A little movie magic.
No, I like it. And also I didn't realize, so is this our first time seeing Kreese experience, what would it be, sorrow or regret?
Well, when he brought Johnny back the second place trophy in Cobra Kai, that was a moment, right?
I thought
he apparently went and got that.
I thought that was a manipulative tactic.
No, it was, but there was a half moment of maybe he felt good about it, or when they had that exchange at that home that he was living at for a while. Yeah. Along the way, there's been moments, but you and I know not to trust him. Yeah. But this might be the first time that there's nothing to gain other than like maybe self-growth. Yeah,
he doesn't have an agenda.
No,
he doesn't have a plot. Yeah.
No, unless he's looking at Silver because they've been having their own problems and their divide, and maybe that's part of it. He's putting it on him now. But so now back to the Cobra Kai team chat, and Silver continues.
Since when do you disobey an order? And Kreese responds, let her do what she wants. And he says to Tori, you've come this far. This is your fight now. So whatever happens, it's up to you.
Wow.
It's almost like Kreese is redoing the Karate Kid, right? It's a do-over.
Yep.
And you know what? One thing I love about this show, and I've thought about this many times off the air, but since we're talking now, to me, Cobra Kai represents second chances. There's so much, if I could only do such and such over again, and then maybe you actually have a chance to do. So right here, this is him kind of redoing that moment with Johnny.
I like that. And I'm going to add one thing to this.
Yeah.
If we can redo, like you say, things, maybe we can redo the Karate Kid Part 3.
All I'm going to do is I'm going to make Karate Kid Part 2, Part 3, and make Part 3, Part 2.
We know
and
that.
I'll be happy.
And that was brilliant. You've already put that in motion. When I relabel them, that they're going to go in that order. And listen, I'm kidding. There's so much of Karate Kid Part 3 I enjoy. But if I could do anything, I'd go back. Forget the one thing, that the one fight. It's not one point. It's what ultimately happened. But the idea of one fight, forget that. That aside, we know I have issues with that. Take that out for sure. But let's expand the All Valley in the Karate Kid Part 3, and maybe take what I mean is like a re-edit, like Stallone did with Ivan vs. Drago, the Rocky IV, Ivan vs. Drago, or Coppola did with The Outsiders, or other movies that he's touched, The Godfather Part 3. Just go back and leave all the stuff that we really enjoy, take some of the cheese out, and expand All Valley. That's all I want to see. We don't see any other fight in All Valley. We don't get the atmosphere. We never feel like we're even there.
No,
I'm like, oh, okay, it's an afterthought. And that's the problem. And you leave the movie like, well, I didn't even get the emotional high because it was just like a dud. And I think if we had 20 minutes of All Valley and we got back what we love, maybe it would have been a better movie, right? So maybe that'll happen at some point in time. Maybe there's another cut coming at some point in time. And these showrunners could do it. They could do it.
That would be very interesting.
Like just a longer cut, and I think everyone would be happy. I mean, even I've read that Machio still has issues with that third movie, and rightfully so. There's a lot in there, but there's a lot in there to love. So
it pains me to even read those headlines.
I know. So it is what it is. So Silver Kreese. So now we're back to the match. Oh yeah, there's a match going on here, Sal, and it's 2-2. And Sam and Tori are facing off, and it's flashback time, Sal. More flashbacks. And Tori and Sam see each other circling at the school fight before they got into it. Tori facing Sam at the LaRusso home dojo. You also like to call it Miyagi-Do and Sino, I believe.
Yes.
And Tori cutting Sam with what, Sal?
Oh, her spiked bracelet.
That thing is gnarly. And then Tori kicking Sam in the home dojo. And as Tori kicks Sam, while that's happening, we go in the present. So it's really a cool cut. And Sam blocks, a fury of hits, and blocks and slow motion, dramatic scene. So cool. And the music swells. And Sal, the unthinkable happens. And what is that?
Do you think like this is all part of Tori's opening up process? Because here she is showing mercy, right? When she says, "Hey, you all right?" to her opponent, Sam.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's after the fact. I'm saying what happens before we get to that point in time.
Oh, okay. I lost it.
That's okay. Well, the unthinkable moment is Tori appears to do a leg sweep, which is common in the Cobra Kai dojo, but drops to one knee, kicks Sam in the stomach, point, winner. And I say unthinkable because I just didn't know who was going to win this fight. And I thought, are they going to have Tori? I was really torn. I didn't know. I thought maybe Samantha LaRusso, her first fight ever. She's a LaRusso. The LaRussos don't lose All Valley. So to me, that was unthinkable. The show would go there. Tori's the winner, and she earned it. Now, there was the questionable out of bounds point, but this show, this tournament has, it's like, that happens in sports. You don't always get the call. It happens. Yeah. But back to what you said, yes, Tori shows mercy right after Sam goes down and hits hard. I mean, because she's right there. She takes the kick. Her head hits the mat. And Tori does say, "Hey, you all right?" Also a throwback to Robbie.
You're right, LaRusso.
Are you all right, LaRusso? I'm telling you, there's something to that cadence that they put that there for a reason. But she shows compassion. Okay. And I do love
she's already, I mean, she knows she won at this point. She's the victor,
and her first moment is to check on her opponent. And that big kudos to her.
Yeah, she is growing. She is opening up. Her heart is softening, is what's happening.
Meanwhile, Cobra Kai's go wild. And then Daniel and Johnny console Sam because she's devastated. She's let the dojo down. This is the first grand champion. Not only is she not champ, they lose. And the handshake deal, this is too much pressure for teenagers. But what is Daryl? Comes back on the mic, and what does he have to say?
Give it up for your first female champion, Tori Nichols, and the winner of the Grand Champion Trophy, and still the baddest dojo in the Valley, Cobra Kai.
Oh my gosh.
He loves that name.
He loves it. And then Silver, like he does in the Karate Kid Part 3, grabs the mic.
Thank you. We couldn't be prouder for our hard-won victory. And we're just as proud to announce we'll soon be opening Cobra Kai franchises throughout the entire Valley. So every one of you young men and women here can be part of our championship dojo to learn Cobra Kai's way of the fist. Thank you. You know what? I took away from that?
What's that?
Franchises? What?
Oh my God.
It's like he doesn't want to spend the money, so he's going to have people buy franchises.
Yeah, exactly.
Because he don't want to spend the money to open up other locations.
A few points here. First of all, it's no longer John Kreese karate. That got thrown out. Also, if you go back to the Karate Kid special episode we did, the first thing we ever recorded, in fact, at some point in time, we'll probably have to redo it because it was just so long ago. But watch it again and have different thoughts now, but maybe. However, we talked about this in there. And the fact that I remember I was shocked that someone didn't go out and create Cobra Kai franchises because the name was so strong and kind of be the Chipotle of dojos, not just the Valley. I just meant across the country.
Sure.
Now that the show is what it is, I wouldn't be surprised. But Terry, such a businessman, can't pass up a moment. I mean, in the Karate Kid Part 3, he's going on and on like he's like the best thing for the Valley. But yes, he is promoting, and he doesn't even say, way to go, Miyagi-Do, Eagle Fang, and all the competitors. No, he's just immediately pumping his franchises.
Yeah. Sales and marketing.
But Sal, this is your chance to join a dojo. Sounds like.
I join a dojo.
In
I
your
can
neighborhood.
open up. I can open up.
You can own a dojo.
I can open up a Cobra Kai franchise.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk Cobra Kai. We'll have our own franchise.
Wow, and do it. Imagine if we open it up, we do have to kick out the spiritual store over here.
Yeah, let's do that. Candle shop.
The candle shop. Whatever. Yeah. Open it up on near Lancashire and Magnolia.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Sorry, crowd. I'll do one in Boston. You'll do one there. We'll be bi-coastal. Well, Daniel and Samantha are devastated. They know the cost of what happened. And Daniel still has to try to be a father to this situation. And when they're talking and, walking, you kind of see Johnny walking, but I like that the leaderboard now says, thank you for attending. Please drive safely. Like, Sal, did the All Valley, did the sports arena serve booze this year? I mean, I love it. I mean, definitely drive safely, but it was like, it might've been a raucous crowd for a reason.
Well, interesting because, I've seen some local Muay Thai organizations at the Burbank Marriott, also former Sportsman's Lodge in Studio City. And yeah, they serve alcohol, but these are minors.
I know.
Competing, probably not. I think they should, but yeah. I bet you that
maybe a section. That's that rowdy section over there. It's like
a
wristband
section.
Wristband, yeah. Well, Johnny talks with Carmen and Rosa. And Sal, I love that Johnny was unaware of what.
Yeah, Johnny didn't know what an Uber. Johnny is still Rip Van Winkle. Where has he been this whole time?
And yeah, Carmen says go. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, because Carmen says one of the parents saw Miguel get in an Uber, and Johnny says, "What's an Uber?" And Carmen continues, "It's like a taxi. He left before the finals."
That reminded me so much of Airplane, 1980, Leslie Nielsen, when he's like, this woman has to be gotten to a hospital. A hospital? What is it? It's a big building with patients, but that's not important right now. I really thought that Carmen was going to say that. It's a taxi. That's not important right now. What's important is where's Miguel? Like, that was a funny exchange to me. Funny for a moment. Yeah.
Leslie Nielsen is an Airplane?
Oh, yeah.
I completely forgot about
He's
Leslie
the doctor.
Nielsen.
He's amazing.
Oh, that's right.
Don't call me
why? Because
Shirley.
I confused him with Peter Graves.
Oh, yeah. Also in Airplane.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's incredible. That exchange, though, it's like, oh my gosh, these beats, it played out perfect. And then she didn't say, because it would have been off, like if she had said that's not important right now. Yeah, but also, what did Johnny think when she said Uber? Like, I'd love to know what's in Johnny's mind. Like, Uber, or did Miguel, like, what is he even thinking it is?
He got in an Uber. Someone said one of the parents saw Miguel get in an Uber. What's an Uber?
Yeah. What's an Uber? Oh, Johnny. Well, Carmen and Rosa leave, assuming Miguel headed home. Right. So, okay. That's a fair assessment.
Sure.
And now we're we're still there, but we're outside the All Valley Sports Complex and Cobra Kai chants continue. Sal, how do those go?
What are they just going? Cobra Kai, Cobra Kai, Cobra Kai. And they're woo.
The classic. Yeah. And then Kyler is having a house party this time, not Stingray Raymond. No one's heard from him. Right. And, but we also know who's going. That's one Queen Cobra.
Oh, yeah. Queen Cobra, Tori.
New nickname. Tori's invited. Yeah. And Sal, I've never seen Tori this happy.
Yeah. She doesn't smile. You know what? Her character doesn't get to smile.
Doesn't get to smile.
No.
And the night of the prom, you're right. Junior prom, she did let her guard down a little bit. But it's not just winning. It's just the elation. She also cared for Samantha in the moment. And it was just, it was pure. And it looked good on her, man. It really did. It's like when Robbie goes around with that scowl, and then he was more happy Robbie, because Robbie, we've seen that side of him when he was with the LaRussos, and it was wonderful to see. Well, nothing lasts forever, Sal.
Oh, yeah.
And Tori is going to go to the party, but she'll be right there after she goes inside for a second, maybe use the restroom. But
yeah, go back in the locker room.
What happens?
Oh boy. She walks back in. Yeah, very hard to watch. She walks back into the locker room area, overhears people talking, looks, not too covert either, because once you're in the office and you see where she's standing right there, and we see it's Terry Silver talking to the ref, the same ref who refed the match between Sam and Tori,
who called Tori out of bounds. Let's not forget. Anyway, continue.
So he is standing there with Terry Silver, and we hear Terry Silver say, "The money will be in your account tomorrow morning." So that's where we gather that the ref was paid off by Terry Silver. And I'm wondering also, does Kreese know about? Was Kreese in on this?
I bet you not.
Wow. Okay, so the implication is that Terry Silver went behind even Kreese's back, did a little secret deal with the ref, paid him off. And by the way, the money will be in your account. Really? You want to have it traceable? Maybe you just should have handed the guy some cash. How about that?
How much money are we talking about here?
Okay, so you're a ref in the All Valley. How much are you willing to give me to basically ruin my career?
5K.
No, are you kidding me? I'd have to get at least 50 grand. At least.
You would. I don't think this guy, I think he's taking 5K. Yeah, Sal Rodriguez needs 50K cash in a bag, not wired.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe he'll take crypto, but definitely, I think it's 5K. But whatever it is, you do not need to have this. Not that I'm trying to cover up for Terry Silver. I am not, but I'm saying for such a good businessman, you don't even need to have this exchange. We don't need to talk at All Valley. I've already talked to you. Sure. You'll get your money. We'll just talk later. But they have this exchange where there's glasses and people can see through where there's glass. And yes, and I'm glad he's caught. At least Tori sees it. That's all we know. But it's also hard for her to take in because then she's thinking, did I win this?
It's hard because on one hand you would be ratting out your sensei, on the other hand you're kind of ratting out the fact that you didn't really win. Maybe you didn't really win.
It's questionable.
Exactly. You there'd have to be an investigation and all this, and it already taints your legacy. There's already going to be an asterisk next to your victory and all that. So what do you do? What do you do in this instance?
Yeah, that's true. It's tough. It's a tough one to see, and I was really bummed out at the same time. Then I quickly thought back to the match and thought, I mean, that was a tough call. There was other ones that were blocks. You never know. The whole tournament is corrupt now, not just Tori.
Exactly.
Every fight. And you want to almost sweep this under the rug and say it was such an incredible event. I mean, the stakes here, Sal, this was the best All Valley ever. How do they even top it? They can't have a scandal on their hands.
Yeah. Nobody wants to have this brought to light. Even people, once they find out, like Tori and others, maybe. Yeah. It's because it's almost like you'd have to do the whole tournament over again.
Yeah. And I don't want that. And I wasn't even thinking that, but I just also felt really bad for Tori, just for her buzzkill. She only had that moment. She
was happy for 10 minutes.
10 minutes is like, oh God, life does suck. And it's really unfair. And you can trust no one. Yeah. Tori's right back.
Yeah, heart hardening.
Heart again. Closed.
Yeah.
So now there's an aerial night shot of the valley, and Johnny drives, cruising along, and he goes to Cobra Kai Reseda, the one he opened. I want to call it the OG, but it's not. It's the one he opened. It's Cobra Kai's original.
Yeah, original at the show. Reseda Flats.
Reseda Flats. Yeah, in Reseda, at the Reseda Flats. And so, space for lease. They moved out. They're already gone. I thought they were waiting for All Valley to end, but they're already gone.
Yeah. Why do we know why they left this location?
Well, he wanted to go to the original. But I thought the whole idea was once we win All Valley, we'll move here and then we'll keep expanding. But he jumped the gun. Silver, well, he also paid off a ref. He knew it was a shoo-in. And then think back to the conversations in the match. This ref's never going to end this on a technicality. Yeah, I know this to be true. Mm-hmm. You're like, So maybe he definitely
will not end this.
We'll move early. We're going to move. Yeah. What if Sam had scored all these other points, or someone else? Not Sam's fight. A different Cobra Kai fight. Nope. What's going on here? Whenever there's like a real fix in sports, which has happened historically, and you go back and watch it, like, oh my gosh, look at this. Or this player was paid in basketball. Basketball is a real easy game to throw the game because one player can make a huge difference. It's only 5-on-5 on the field, on the court. So there's been, things have come up in time and they've gone back and researched the game. It's like, oh yeah, look at how he is playing. Uncharacteristic mistakes, or there was a big referee in the NBA who got prison time for his cheating and manipulating games. So it happened. So,
but anyway, was he paid off by coaches or something?
Paid off. Yeah. I really want to read the book. I don't even know. I just know what happened. It's definitely documented. There's been kickers in college football that a kicker can really determine a game, paid off enough. Like, I just shanked that one to the right, so Yeah, it's terrible, but it happens. I didn't mean to go on that dark hole, but it does exist.
Well, no, the show brought us to that dark hole.
It took me. Thank you, Cobra Kai, for taking us there. But anyway, they've moved out. Right. That's back to our point. And so Johnny's having flashbacks of opening this dojo where he was. Remember the slogan? He put it on the wall. He stenciled it on the wall. And then who arrives? Yeah,
very strange. Very surprised to see Robbie walks in the door. And props and shout out to Tanner Buchanan because he delivers a monologue.
Unbelievable.
I would love to, as an actor, would love to deliver it as good as he does.
Tears in his eyes. Like he kills it. Yeah. I'll let you do the honor, sir.
So Robbie walks in, he sees his dad sees him, and then Robbie starts to break down and he says, it's this kid, Kenny. I thought I could take him under my wing, be the mentor I wish I had when I was younger. But when I saw him today, it's like looking in the mirror. And I realized I screwed everything up. I had all this hate inside of me for you and for Miguel. And I thought I could use Cobra Kai to control that. But it just made things worse. And now it's never going to get better.
And Johnny takes it in, much like he listened to Daniel earlier. But this is what a day for everybody.
No.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah. You're going to need to recover.
Day.
You need a recovery after this.
And Johnny is just listening to his son, his estranged son. And he says, that's not true. You had a good thing going. You had a good thing going with LaRusso. I got in the way of that. Don't blame yourself. You blame me. Oh, my
And Robbie
gosh.
says in tears, I'm sick of blaming you, Dad. That's huge. You know what? Huge. For him to say something like that at his age, because I don't think I stopped blaming my parents until probably my mid-30s. It wasn't until my mid-30s I'm like, you know what? It's all on me. But here he is in his teens. Forget that the actor's in his early 20s. Robbie's in his teens and he realized this. I'm sick of blaming you, Dad. In other words, he wants to start taking responsibility for his own life. That's a big deal.
It's a great line. Well written. And Johnny says, it's going to be all right. We'll figure this out. Okay. And they're embracing. And I don't remember, and I could be wrong, ever seeing them embrace.
I don't think so. Well, I don't think we've seen this, let alone for this length. Even if they gave a hello, goodbye hug,
hey,
not like this.
No, it's really,
with emotion and tenderness and a connection between father and son. We've never seen this.
Beautiful. Really choked me up.
I think I might have had something in my eye in this scene.
Yeah,
maybe
I had a lot of somethings in my eyes. Yeah, I don't know. I was cutting onions, though. To be fair, I was cutting onions just before the scene.
Yeah.
I was a lot of sniffling. Yeah, honey, it's okay. Don't look at me. I'm crying. So now we're at Silver's house, outside, to be clear, and they're like a little fire pit, Silver style.
Yeah, one of those modern. It's one of those modern fire pits.
Very modern.
Gas fire pit.
He and Cheyenne had many nights out here with wine and hanging out, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
And Sal, the senseis are celebrating. And what are they celebrating with?
1998 Bollinger. Is that a very expensive champagne? Is that what that is?
Yes. Well, I don't know how very expensive, but I did look it up. Several $100s on something. Okay. I don't know this one.
Okay, hang on. My budget, to me, anytime a bottle,
it's a ton.
Anytime a bottle is, I think, over $80. To me, that's expensive. That's over $80. That's my threshold.
Yeah, it's nice. And he's been hanging on to it for a special occasion. So this is a special occasion for Silver and Kreese. And it's even more special as we continue the scene.
Yes.
But he also mentions that he's thankful. Silver, that is, thankful, and he is awakened. Something inside of him is awakened in this whole process. And then they, we hear, we even hear the pop at the top. It's very cinematic. And then they have their glasses and they're toasting. And Kreese says, "To Cobra Kai."
Tink,
tink. And then
Silver says, "The #1 dojo in the valley." And here's where he pivots. I gotta say, I'm surprised you backed off on Nichols in the finals. That's not like you.
Well, what can I say? I had a moment of sympathy.
That's a first. You remember when you asked me what I thought your weakness was? It's Johnny Lawrence. That's what this was all about, right? It was never about us teaming up or bringing back the glory days. That was all bullshit.
That's not true.
Silver responds, yes, it is. And I fell for it. You know why? Because everyone has a weakness, John, and mine is you.
You think I'm your weakness? Well, you got it backwards, because I'm your strength. I've been your strength ever since Vietnam.
Yes, there it is. I can always count on your playing the guilt card. How many times do you expect me to repay that debt before we're square?
And then right when he says this, and Sal, talk about good timing for Silver. I don't know how you time something like this based on the events we're about to get into.
Exactly. It had to be perfect timing to pull this one off.
Wait a second. And we see police cars pull up and, lights, and Kreese says, what did you do? Because he knows this isn't going to be good. There's something amiss here.
Yeah.
And Kreese is picking up on it.
Yeah, because obviously Kreese realizes that something went down and he was unaware. Because as far as Kreese knows, they did it. Yeah, they did it. They're having champagne.
It all worked.
Everything's great right
Everything
now, right?
according to plan. Yeah, it was tight. It came down to the last match, but we did it. And Miyagi-Do is gone. Eagle Fang is gone. Johnny is gone. Daniel's gone. And we're top of the heap.
Yeah, and we're going to open up franchises all over the valley.
And have this great champagne. Yeah. Well, we're back at West Valley General Hospital. Stingray Raymond in his hospital bed. Still hasn't gotten out of the bed.
No.
But there's a detective there. And he wants him to identify his attacker. So at least, Stingray has his wits about him. He's no longer a John Doe, thank goodness.
Yes.
And Stingray begins to have flashbacks of the beating that he encountered or took from Silver.
Yeah. And we see Silver says, you want to be Cobra Kai?
Oh, yeah.
And here's a line that we didn't see when he says, I'll make you Cobra Kai, but you got to do something for me.
Yes.
So that line,
before
we did not hear that originally.
Yeah.
No,
They kept that from us before he really knocked Raymond and nearly killed him. I mean, this whole plan of Silver's would have been kaput if he had killed Stingray.
Imagine that.
Which could have happened.
Absolutely. People have been killed. There was a recent story of two guys fighting in the street. Some guy got killed one punch because I think he got punched, and then I think he hit the concrete.
It
dead.
Can happen. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously. So, yeah, he pushed it way too far, and scary, and poor Stingray being another pawn in this, system. Well, Sal, Stingray tells a detective what?
Yeah, the detective says, tell us who did this to you.
Mm-hmm.
And then Stingray says, Sensei John Kreese.
Because we don't know. Watching this, it's like, we know who did it.
Yes.
What's they going to say? However, when you see the cops and you see what's going on, you know what's happening.
Yeah, now it makes sense. But at first, it's like, why would he say that? Here's why he says this. Because Terry Silver is framing John Kreese for assaulting attempted murder on Stingray.
Mm-hmm. And it all happened that day. He had the all night. He drank. He stayed up all night. He was mad because he felt tricked by Kreese, and he came up with his own devious plan. And in walks young Raymond Stingray, and he's like, "Get out of here! Get out of here! No, wait, I can make this work to my advantage." The beating ensues, and the whole time this music starts to kind of swell, and it's Bill Conti from The Karate Kid Part 3. And the name of the track is Terry's Next Move.
Whoa. I didn't know that.
Wow.
Nice.
Unbelievable. Kudos to the show. Wonderful as always.
Well, kudos to you for catching that. Well,
thank you, Sal. I appreciate that.
Yeah. That's good.
And now we're at Silver's house again, outside with Kreese and the police.
Yeah.
And Silver goes on to say what?
I'm shedding my weakness, Captain. And the detective says, John Kreese, you're under arrest for aggravated assault and attempted murder. You have the right to remain silent. And Silver says, John, what did you do? I'm sure I can dig up an old friend or two to help out with Cobra Kai while you deal with your legal problems. And I'm right away thinking, dig up an old friend. Yeah. Who's the other guy? Snake?
Well, Snake and them, they were whatever. I'm just thinking Barnes, and maybe there's. How about an original Cobra Kai, or how about Dutch?
Ooh, not enjoy. Oh, that would be an ace in the
How
hole.
about Dutch?
I love
and
it.
And then Kreese says,
"Yeah,
you're gonna regret this. I am Cobra Kai."
And then last line, Silver says, "And don't worry about Lawrence. I'll take care of him. And don't worry about Lawrence. I'll take good care of him too."
Oh my, scary. Sal.
Yeah, what does that mean exactly?
Listen, we've talked about this in this season. In this season, we've had this discussion. Oh, who's more evil? Who's more evil? Kreese and Silver. Well, I think we have our answer. Silver wins hands down. He's the most evil, narcissistic sociopath sensei in the valley. And now he's running Cobra Kai.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, if you're an evil person and you influence someone else to be evil, that person will become more evil than
next level.
You. Yeah, they'll take it to the next level.
Sal, Kreese should have let sleeping dogs lie and never went and got Terry out of his box that he built for himself. Mm-hmm. He just shouldn't have done it, because this is what happens. He meets someone who has a darker side than himself, because in business, he was cutthroat. He has this in him. He played games with Miyagi. He did things that Kreese just wouldn't do. Like, Kreese will push it, but he doesn't take things that far. In fact, he went and stood up for Tori that one time and took her manager out. So
how about that?
Not that I don't want to sing his praises, but he's not Terry Silver. He's done some good deeds in his day.
No, what you're saying is basically even John Kreese has boundaries, whereas Terry Silver does not seem to have any boundaries.
And he's got money and power.
Makes it even worse.
Because
scary. Then you can be evil at another level.
Yes. Well, that's a lot to take in, but this episode has more.
What?
This episode is like 2 massively condensed episodes in one, and it was an undertaking, and we still have some more pivotal scenes to come. Another beautiful aerial night shot of the valley, and now we're at Reseda Apartments, where Johnny and Carmen and Miguel and we think Rosa sometimes live. And Johnny's walking, and he hears from Carmen and Miguel's apartment, some noise. So he's thinking, he goes, opens the door, finds out everyone's upset. Miguel left a note, Sal. He's not there. He's left a note.
Old school also. I mean, he could have sent a text,
an email, a text. He sat down and wrote out a note.
Yeah.
And this is a really amazing scene. It's a voiceover with Miguel, which we've seen in movies and shows forever, but it's so well done here. And while that's happening, there's lots of visuals, like the LaRussos coming home from All Valley and their state of mind, Kreese in the police car, and then Miguel where he's ultimately at, which I'll save. But why don't you be the voice of Miguel and speak his words?
Mom, I'm sorry for leaving a note like this, but I thought it was the best way, maybe the only way, to say what I have to say. The last few months have been a roller coaster. My injury, rehab, me and Sam, Sensei, and Mr. LaRusso. I convinced myself that I could get over all that by focusing on the tournament. I thought that if I won that everything would work out, but I was wrong. Tell Sensei that I'm sorry I bailed. His karate helped me grow, but I'm still not sure who I want to be. And to figure that out, I think I need to know where I came from. Sensei was scared to find out about the truth about his past. Sensei was scared to find out the truth about his past, and honestly, I am too. But overcoming that fear is the fight I have to face instead of competing for a trophy. I need to meet my father. This is something I have to do. Please try not to worry. I'll be safe and I'll be back soon. I love you, Mom. And Yaya too.
Wow. That's good writing. And that hits every point. And Miguel, I get it, man. This quest makes sense, especially what he's went through. Never knew his father. Him and Johnny bond. They had that moment where he was really heartbroken, and he just wants answers. And this is a beautiful scene. And it actually works. It actually works better as a letter. It works better in this way.
Yeah,
it really does.
I think it becomes more sentimental, more heartfelt.
Yes.
In a letter. And let me tell you this is totally me being transparent here. I mean, it's me and 2 brothers and 2 sisters, but let's just talk about the brothers for a second. All of us separately have had to go on these like locate your dad, find your dad, who's your dad, where's your dad.
Wow.
Wow,
you can relate.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It's amazing.
I mean, I did in my late 20s. My oldest brother did in his like 30s, and then my other brother, I think, is doing it now in his early 50s.
They have different dads. You guys all have different fathers.
We all have different fathers. None of the fathers in our lives. So yeah, we all had to go through this, and if done right, I think can be very cathartic.
Yeah.
Very cathartic, because you can possibly heal instead of, you won't necessarily open up old wounds. You can heal old wounds.
Yeah.
Because so like when I sat down with my dad in my late 20s, after our many years of not speaking, I came to a lot of healing in my life in my late 20s.
He probably did too.
Maybe so. Yeah. So I think it can be a very good thing, but it's also, you got to be careful, especially because we're going to be learning some stuff about Miguel's dad more than we knew before. So it can open up a can of worms. So, but I absolutely relate. Absolutely.
And you had brothers going through the same thing. So did it help you that the three of you were going through the same thing? Did you guys lean on each other?
Yeah, well, it didn't happen at the same time,
of course.
But I'm very proud in saying that I guess, I mean, he says so, that I was pivotal in my oldest brother locating his dad.
Good.
I provided him information which he was not able to access. I got him that information. He was able to find his dad's relatives, long lost uncles, cousins, a whole batch of family in Ireland, in County Cork, that he would not have been able. Yeah, he would not have been able to locate.
My grandparents are from.
You and I are probably related through marriage.
Cork, and I went to the film festival with Strictly Background years ago. It was my first visit, and I was in front of the audience going, my grandfather's from here, and it was an honor to come here and play in the Cork Film Festival. But County Cork, we probably are related.
Yeah.
Salvador Connell, Jason Rodriguez. I like it.
So I totally relate. I totally understand the especially young man's journey to try to find their roots and all that. And that's what Miguel is going through. This is heavy duty. I'm really looking forward to see how this comes out and turns out in season 5.
Yeah. So part of that visual, and I am too, Sal, absolutely. Part of the visual, which I left out till you finished, was he is getting on a bus headed to Mexico City. That's what we know.
Yeah.
And Miguel's off on his journey, and it's beautiful. And then Johnny comforts Carmen because they're taking this in. They've already read it, but Johnny's hearing it for the first time. Yeah. And he basically says he'll bring Miguel home. Like, man, he's going to go out, and just in case he gets in over his head, over his skis on his journey. And Sal, what else do we learn?
This is that little thing we did not know. We knew that Miguel has a father somewhere out there, and then his father wound up. Yeah, like his dad was like, I don't know if his dad was a bad guy or maybe at least got wrapped up in bad things. Mom probably with bad people, bad influences. Could have been a number of things. But what we learn here, Carmen tells Johnny that Miguel's dad does not even know that Miguel exists.
No.
Oh boy. That's going to be an interesting visit in Mexico.
Yes, it is. And again, recently I've gone on record saying I'd like to see, just my little request for the showrunners, Miguel's father played by either Benjamin Bratt, Ezzy Morales, or Lou Diamond Phillips. And we both agreed on Ezzy Morales. So that's our front runner. We'd love to see it. Perfect. Any of these guys would kill it. It's going to be someone that we know, I think, or are familiar with. I would think this show does that. It surprises us. But anyway, I'm on record. I know it's 3. So if I had to whittle down to 1, I'd say Ezzy Morales, but it could be any of them.
Okay, well then on topic, I've thought this for a long time when it comes to the topic of dads. You know, they play with who Johnny Lawrence's real dad is. We may get to meet him one day. Maybe if he's alive. You know who I'd love to see is Johnny Lawrence's dad on the show? Okay, Chuck Norris is my number 1 choice for Johnny Lawrence's dad. But you know who but that might be too obvious. You know who my second choice is?
Well, let me guess. I got that one. So let me think about this for a second. Actor, do we know him?
Yeah, actor. Well-known actor, not martial arts.
Oh, not martial arts.
But think of the age group that he'd have to be in.
He'd have to be kind of Chuck Norris's age.
Yeah, sure.
Has he won an Oscar?
Maybe. He's big.
Robert Redford.
There you go.
Man, I'm good.
You are good. Robert Redford appearing as Johnny Lawrence's dad. Who knows? Could happen. But
I
you heard
love
it here
it,
first.
Sal. I love it. I'm in on all that. And if there's flashbacks, let's just take it one step further. If there's ever flashbacks on on Daniel's father, because he only knew him for a certain time in his early, childhood before he passed away, someone could be his father. And I don't have anybody in mind, but I think this show would do that. It could do that for us. Right? Young Lucille, young Daniel's father, young LaRusso. So anyway, but we don't have to name names now, but I like that. I feel good about nailing that. I'm done. I'm out. No, there's more. There's another scene in this incredible episode, epic episode. And now we have that LA skyline, which we've seen before, this dawn, this stunning shot. We saw it in a recent episode. I remember saying it reminded me of The Night of the Comet, that movie. Just 1984 movie, I believe, but just has that kind of look and feel. The night this comet comes over and all these people die and only a few people are alive. Silly movie, but check it out nonetheless. And we are at, Sal, this place is sacred for us in the Cobra Kai Karate Kid universe. And it is, where are we? I'll let you say it. Where are we?
We are at Miyagi's gravesite. And now I don't know if is this an actual cemetery? You think maybe they turned a park into a cemetery? Do you think?
I don't know. We've been here a few times, but I don't know. I didn't look enough to see other gravestones are there. Probably
no. There are other gravestones. I just didn't know if they were props or if they were at an actual cemetery. I was.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they staged it. I'm not sure, but
it's
we've
a real
seen
nice,
this before. We've seen this before.
Real nice.
Anytime
cemetery.
we're here, it's like,
it's almost like being in church. I would almost say. In fact, with him kneeling, also, it's very much a church-like quality here.
Yeah.
And we see the tombstone. Noriyoshi Miyagi, born June 9th, 1925, died November 15, 2011. Beloved husband, father, teacher, and war hero. 442nd Regiment, received Medal of Honor. I would have added there like a, karate sensei or something. Maybe I would have said sensei.
Teacher, and I think that said it all. I could have said sensei, but I was thinking the same thing as I wrote this down. But yeah, that's it. He was a teacher.
Well, sensei actually does mean teacher, doesn't it?
Yeah, I don't know the translation of it. I'm sure it does. But also says father. And yes, we know that he was the father of a child who died in childbirth, but he was also a father to Daniel.
Wow.
In a lot of ways. And yes, sensei does mean translation is teacher. So it says it all. Teacher is a beautiful word.
Yeah.
And wonderful that he's here, that Daniel's here. And he probably comes here to get centered. Yeah. I mean, he just lost this thing and he's a stand-up guy, Daniel. Johnny, he might not remember the handshake, but Daniel knows that the bet was this. And it's like, well, how do I honor? He's more about honor, right? Because of Mr. Miyagi's influence. And then Daniel goes on to say this, and I'll do this one if you don't mind. But
yes,
Daniel on his knees says to Mr. Miyagi, he's speaking to Mr. Miyagi.
Sure.
I did everything I thought was right. I followed all the Miyagi-Do teachings. I even put aside my rivalry and teamed up with Johnny. None of it worked. Now I'm supposed to give up my dojo and step down as a sensei? And he continues. But there's too much at stake to honor an agreement made with men who have none. Good point, Daniel. Good point. If Cobra Kai is going to keep growing and getting stronger, I need to do whatever it takes to stop them, even if that means going on the offense. And then, as he says this last part, he gets off of his knees and stands. And we're taking this in, and we're about to get one of the biggest reveals that I can remember. And I'll let you make that reveal, but here's what Daniel says. I know this isn't your fight, and this is a lot to ask, but will you help me finally put an end to Cobra Kai? What happens next, Sal? I have watched it so many times, just that sequence, because while he stands up, we hear this great song by Def Leppard, Switch 625, which has so much energy, and it's just such the perfect track here. And Sal, please just tell us what happens.
That last line when he says, but will you help me finally put an end to Cobra Kai? We're assuming he's still talking to Miyagi, right?
Correct.
No one else is around, but all of a sudden the camera pans out and we see to Daniel's left, Chosen standing there. So that last line, I know this isn't your fight and this is a lot to ask, but will you help me finally put an end to Cobra Kai, was not saying that to Miyagi, was saying that to Chosen, who is standing right there. And also very interesting that Daniel allows Chosen to see him being vulnerable there in front of Miyagi's gravesite. So very interesting moment.
It's wonderful. And then he has a quick line. Chosen does. Do you remember?
I didn't catch the line. What he said.
It was more like a Miyagi as a Japanese line. I think he just said yes. I think he took that line that I said earlier.
Hi.
And he just says that. And Chosen Toguchi, I guess is his name, played by,
I forget his name.
Yuji Akamoto.
Yes.
And it's beautiful. He just says, he's off to the side, then comes and joins Daniel, both facing Mr. Miyagi, because Chosen has nothing but the utmost respect for Mr. Miyagi and the lineage of it. He is running Miyagi-Do. He's the holder, the keeper of secrets. He has the dojo, the museum, whatever. He has it all. And he's a great keeper. He's not because he's trying to be Terry Silver, because he's a great steward of this and he wants to pass it on. So
he's not the same guy from Karate Kid 3. I'm sorry, Karate Kid 2.
Yeah, go back and watch season 3, episode 5, Miyagi-Do, and you fall in love with Chosen. I love this guy, seeing him and his strength and his presence. He doesn't have to say much. He just says that, comes over, joins Daniel, and Sal Miyagi-Do's future looks bright. He brought him over. He must have called Chosen and said, I'm in this dilemma. And him and Johnny can go back and forth, but they need another one, like another being, someone at another level that can kind of come in with clarity and bring something that they don't have. And I love this moment so much. It's incredible. I don't know how you felt, but it floored me. It floored me.
I was utterly amazed by this ending, but also it left me with a whole slew of questions, because I'm thinking, okay, not only we're gonna have to wait a year to find out.
I know,
but
not quite a year, but yes.
Okay, now a little less. You're right, a little less now. But what's gonna happen here? What's Daniel gonna have him do? And meanwhile, Terry Silver's gonna go dig up some people from the past. Who's he gonna bring up? What the hell is going to happen in season 5?
I don't even want to speculate. I'm just trying to process what I just went through. We just went through.
This was intense.
The rise.
I would say, I don't know. It's hard to say because it's a lot of time has passed now, but this has probably been the most intense episode.
Yeah.
As far as also up and down, a couple of tearful moments, chopping onions.
Yeah, a lot of chopping onions.
Yeah, this was intense.
And the rise means so much. Yeah, the fall. Yeah, we figured Miguel, the fall, right? Miyagi. I can't believe I said that. The fall is Miguel going down. We go to black. It's like, uh-oh. And then the rise. Well, obviously it's got to be Miguel. He rises up and he fights the good fight and he wins All Valley again. Well, the rise means a lot of other things. It's Miyagi-Do rising. It's all these stories. Look, Robbie.
Unfortunately, Miguel, Terry Silver
rising. It's everyone's, going up a notch. And Tori, Samantha, maybe she'll grow from a loss. You do learn a lot from a loss. I'll tell you that right now. But yeah, it means so much, and it has set us up for season 5. However, if he's bringing Chosen over to end Cobra Kai, does that mean we're one season away? I mean, can all this play out in a season? I don't know, man. This is a lot. And hey, how much is Chosen going to be in the next season? I'm elated for this. This is going to be a season where, hey, this season we're in Okinawa, and then Cobra Kai is on a field trip. And are we going to Okinawa? Are we going to see a change of scenery in Cobra Kai, the show? Oh, anything's on the table here, Sal.
Well, I'm always partial to seeing Tamlyn Tomita. So
of course you do.
If we have an opportunity to see her in season 5, I'll be quite happy.
And I got to stop myself. I don't want to overly speculate.
We are speculating because I
got caught up in it. I got caught up.
Every season ends on a cliffhanger. So it's going to happen. There's going to be that speculation. But yeah, here we are. We did it. It's been quite a journey. Season 4, episode 10. Again, not only just the season 4, but it's 4 seasons down. We've done it. This has been quite a journey.
It has.
Thank you for having me, Jason. It's been quite a ride.
My pleasure.
Yeah, it's been quite a ride, and I'm happy to be here. And this episode was intense, and this season was intense.
Our longest episode ever. I mean, the uncut, the unedited one's over 2 hours now and running on YouTube Live. This matches some of the times we've done movies. This is like a movie length. This is a movie length because, it's 47 or what, in the 45, 47 minute range. Yeah. But it's so dense with things. When we cover movies, you kind of have to cruise through some of the dialogue and scenes because there's a lot more scenes.
Sure.
Well, there's a lot less scenes here, but it's like, well, the context of this is that. And if we want to go back in time, we've got to shed light on that. And when I was doing notes, I was like, oh my gosh, this is taking me hours, a lot longer than a normal episode, but well worth it. We did it, Sal. I'm excited. I'm over the moon. And
wow. Yeah.
We'll come back with special episodes. We have so many in store.
Yeah.
Which are short, Sal, which are fun.
You and I were talking about the special episodes. I mean, if you look at how many shows we've done, so there's been now 40 episodes of Cobra Kai.
And 3 movies.
3 movies. And then the rest are all special episodes. But actually, we've done more special episodes than actual shows that go with each episode.
Yep.
So it's almost like the episodes are special episodes.
Yeah. They became that. Yeah. It all changed.
Yeah.
And just to throw this out there for our fans, we are literally on the verge of a significant number of episodes being released. Sal, do you know what that number is?
Oh, okay. Well, we passed
We're close.
We're close to our 100th episode then, right?
We're very close.
Wow.
We're just a couple away.
Really? Nice.
That's amazing. When we started this journey, it's like we're almost at 100. Wow, almost at 100.
That's a lot of content.
I'm impressed. So.
That's a lot of entertainment. I mean, if I would say if you are like a long haul trucker, this is your show. You have so much so much content to listen to.
To the truckers, keep on trucking.
Yeah, we've put out a lot of stuff. We put out a lot of content. Thankful to the creators of Karate Kid and Cobra Kai, and now here we are. We've been through a lot. There's a whole lot more to come.
Whole lot.
And I'm proud of what we've done.
Me too. This has been, when I put this show in motion, I never thought it would be here. I never thought you and I would be here. It's exceeded my expectations, but the bar just keeps going. So I think this is the best episode we've ever done. I truly believe that because of the content. Come on, it's the show, but we were right there with it. And hopefully our viewers and our listeners are enjoying it and have enjoyed it and keep coming back for more. Because if they're listening and watching, we'll keep showing up. That's for sure. And sometimes in gis.
Yes. Jason is wearing his actual gi.
Yes. I was ready to throw down at All Valley, Sal. Turns out not under 18. I was waiting for the Masters division. No.
In fact, I would almost say, considering our show and the format, and here you are, I think this is almost cosplay, but it's like cosplay, but it's your real gi that you actually use in martial arts.
Actually use it. Yes.
It's like next level.
Well, let me go back in time really quick, if I may. When we were doing the first 2 seasons in the studio in Toluca Lake, I'd come over, not every time, but a lot of times I would come over right after I would finish karate.
Yes.
The martial arts class would end and I would drive over, set up, and I would keep the gi on. We weren't doing video. No. And I was like, whatever. I mean, I didn't even have time to shower. We set up the thing. We recorded 2 episodes. Mm-hmm. So it's not like I've never done this, but I figured it was fitting for this episode.
No, it's a celebration. You're wearing your gi. I'm wearing my shirt that I wore on our 100,000th download special episode. So this is my, it's not a gi, but it's my special attire.
Maybe that'll help us get 100,000 downloads for this episode alone.
Oh my God.
Let's hope for that.
Everybody listening, everybody within earshot of the season 4. This is now the final episode of season 4. But guess what? Let's Talk Cobra Kai continues. We will be back. There is a whole lot more to come. We stay in the Karate Kid Cobra Kai universe. So we will be back.
Yes, we do. All right, buddy. Let's wrap it up.
All right.
So unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped.
Get 20% off and free shipping with the code cobrakai at manscaped.com.
So thank you so much for listening. And please be sure to subscribe to the Let's Talk Cobra Kai podcast, as well as the Let's Talk Cobra Kai YouTube live channel. You can also really help us by giving the show a 5-star rating on Apple Podcast.
And for all you listeners that enjoy sharing your thoughts, you can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, send us a direct message, or post a comment on any Let's Talk Cobra Kai social media platform.
If you're a dedicated listener or viewer of Let's Talk Cobra Kai, please consider supporting the show on Patreon. We also highly recommend checking out our other podcast and visiting justcuriousmedia.com.
No mercy.